listen very, very carefully.
Tell the youth them for be strong. You can't tell the youth them for preach wrongs. While you try it on these lands, just remember every man is equal. Yeah, each one teach one. And our Father God, him are the only done. So make we ease and reason. Smoke trees, span the ends, all the deep meds. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government, no have no heart, them no care about poor people. Yeah, bigger heads no love people again. Them more sad than little of them. Me see friends now reason again. Vex through whistle a blame. More time it hurt me if you see how the face. Deal with the eagle of them. Regular me see it a pain. Regular me see it a pain. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government, no have no heart, them no care about poor people. Social commentary, drop the one your principle, you don't know the global will come and do it. Some people life every day it's stress. The high price from JPS, that topic is currently. Jah alone him a go help you. We need food and we no healthy. We are feel the pain, beg you protect we. In our life we have no fenve. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government, no have no heart, them no care about poor people. Tell the youth them for be strong. You can't tell the youth them for preach wrongs. While you try it on these lands, just remember every man is equal. Yeah, each one teach one. And our Father God, him are the only done. So make we ease and reason. Smoke trees, span the ends, all the deep meds. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government, no have no heart, them no care about poor people. Yeah, bigger heads no love people again. Them more sad than little of them. Me see friends now reason again. Vex through whistle a blame. More time it hurt me if you see how the face. Deal with the eagle of them. Regular me see it a pain. Regular me see it a pain. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government, no have no heart, them no care about poor people. Social commentary, drop the one your principle, you don't know the global will come and do it. Some people life it.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Brought us from the motherland in bondage and chains. Bury our culture and change our names. They claim we're free, yet we are in pain. As long as there's life, there's a lot to gain. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. When God spoke his words, they said he was deranged. Marley sung his songs, they said the same. Malcolm X and Martin Luther fought relentlessly so we could be better. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Righteousness, they say we are praise. Brought us from the motherland in bondage and chains. Bury our culture and change our names. They claim we're free, yet we are in pain. As long as there's life, there's a lot to gain. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise.
Very carefully.
It's all about life in the street. People are suffer, try surviving the heat. Bad mind them out to one, hygiene a do it. That's why enough of them, yeah, rifle a beat. Everybody want big ups and want to drive in a Jeep. Every day I'm at the ball when she buy in a read. Not even 5 days, you can't find for the week. Me no see no changes, the same cycle repeat. Give thanks cause life it's a sweet. But keep an eye open every time you go sleep. Cause mankind jealous and them idle go late. Them never yet plant and not try figure rape. Bigger heads where you fight for the sake. Now care about the future nor the child where you creep. Them a pray the fat Kyle was submit. The system will slide where you fit.
In the streets where we born and grow. Only Jah know and nobody know.
When we talk about ghetto life, talk about ghetto life.
Everybody a priest and them want it low. That's why them a speed and they pan the go.
Cause this a real ghetto life. This a real ghetto life. Yeah. Everybody just a pre-success. When me looking at the street, you me see enough stress. Them all a fight people who reach up next. Everybody want floss and a beat up chest. Juvenile in a them teen love sex. Them a pre the fast money, them no need subjects. And if you're unfortunate, please don't vex. Also the things said cause the streets don't rest.
In the streets where we born and grow. Only Jah know and nobody know.
When we talk about ghetto life, talk about ghetto life.
Everybody a priest and them want it low. That's why them a speed and they pan the go.
Cause this a real ghetto life. This a real ghetto life. Yeah. It's all about life in the street. People are suffer, try survive in the heat. Bad mind them out to one, hygiene a do it. That's why enough of them, yeah, rifle a beat. Everybody want big ups and want to drive in a Jeep. Every day I'm at the ball when she buy in a read. Not even 5 wheels, you can't find for the week. Me no see no changes, the same cycle repeat. Give thanks cause life it's a sweet. But keep an eye open every time you go sleep. Cause mankind jealous and them idle go late. Them never yet plant and not try figure rape. Bigger heads where you fight for the sake. Now care about the future nor the child where you creep. Them a pray the fat Kyle was on it. The system will slide where you fit.
In the streets where we born and grow. Only Jah know and nobody know.
When we talk about ghetto life, talk about ghetto life. ghetto life.
Everybody a priest and them want the dough. That's why them a speed and they on the go.
Cause this a real ghetto life, ghetto life. This a real ghetto life, ghetto life. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hey, peace. What's happening, everyone? What now, deal with?
Recognize royalty, recognize it, recognize royalty, gotta recognize it, recognize royalty, like they ain't got eyes to recognize royalty. I can feel, recognize royalty, I can see, recognize royalty, 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 I can see, recognize royalty, I can love, recognize royalty, I recognize it, royalty, I recognize passion.
Welcome. Remember to like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications. All of that helps. Blessings. Let's get started.
The gripe that African Americans have with the United States, right, with America, is from 1776 up into 72. We lump all of that together, right? You understand that, right? We just don't cut it off with the abolition of slavery. We extend that up to the point where we got full rights, because up until 1972, all of the rights and benefits that's bequeathed to Americans wasn't extended to us. You understand that? So that's a legacy of discrimination, right, and second-class citizenship, right? So
Sure, but
hold on. Let me finish this. And so reparations, right, is to repair the injustice and the damage that was done from 1776 to 1972. Now, if people can't even live where they want to live, right? So they can't, they're not getting the same property value. Black people was paying taxes, right? That was paying for hospitals and schools that they couldn't even go to because the laws wouldn't even let. You see what I'm saying? That shit held people back, and the government can't act. Go ahead.
It didn't hold you back? You're trying to tell me that held you back, Chef?
Oh my God!
You're trying to tell me that in 1965, because in 1965, the Jim Crow laws, because of Jim Crow laws today, you're held back, Chef?
Yes.
How are you held back because of Jim Crow, Chef? Tell me. How, Chef?
Hold on, Savio.
It's generational.
It's generational, yo. If my grandparents,
generational wealth, nigga.
If my grandparents didn't get a fair shake, right, then that fucked up my potential. You don't get that. If my grandparents couldn't own property in certain neighborhoods, right? If they couldn't get jobs, if they couldn't go to certain schools, right? It fucks up potential for their generations.
Before I left, I wanted to ask you, Chef, because it sounded as if you were saying that because of slavery, you didn't feel like you had the same potential as a white kid. So I guess I wanted to ask you if you thought that, like, a black child that's born today, like, do you think that a black child born today has the same potential?
Yo, you crazy as I don't know what, bro. It's about economics, bro. I don't care about this question. It's about economics. It's about your social economic status, and our social economic status has been dampered. It has been destroyed based off of slavery. Simple as that. Based off of Jim Crow laws. Based off of civil rights laws being violated. It's our social economic status that we're talking about, bro. Of course we smart enough and intelligent enough. That's not the problem. It's our social economic status that keeps following us around because somebody used that shit for 200 years. Free flavor, dog. You tripping.
So, you know, again, like, it's interesting how we keep, like, blaming slavery. I think Ankh was saying that because of slavery is responsible for our socio-economic condition today.
Yes.
But, you know, again, Black Wall Street was built 50 years out of slavery. And why slavery didn't prevent them from creating Black Wall Street 50 years out of slavery, but 400 years out of slavery is preventing us from doing something. It just sounds weird to me. And it just sounds like such, like, it's just so weak-minded. Like, I'm like, really? Really? Like, how is it that, you know what? Anyway, but Chef, the question I'm asking you, you know, like how, like, with the kids and that went through with the whole water, the lead in the water situation, like,
Yes,
would
sir.
you agree that those people that were affected by that situation, like, if you were to take them to a doctor and like look inside of their body, you would see the physical effects of the lead on their bodies?
Yes.
Would you agree that like if like an ancestor of not an ancestor, like if their child, for example, if one of them had a child and had a case that, you know, the same lead affected them, you know, like that child could also go to a doctor and say and prove and show physically how their body is affected because of the lead?
I don't know if lead poison is hereditary.
Right. Okay. Let's say it's not, but okay. So let's just
or the effects. Oh, you're saying the effects of.
Right.
Go ahead.
If someone was like, if their descendant was to say, you know, the same lead is affecting me, that descendant would, and then that they wanted compensation from it, that descendant would also have to show that physical effect of it. Correct?
Not really. Not necessarily. Not
like for like
no,
like
no,
so
I heard.
like,
I heard.
Right. The person, like, if I was going through a lead poisoning, I would have to go to a doctor and show that it physically affected me. I'd have to show the tests. And if I wanted compensation for it, if my child wanted compensation for it as well, they would also have to do the same thing, show that it not only affected their dad,
why are you
but it
fighting
affected
so hard
them,
against
and they would
African Americans getting reparations?
But listen what I'm saying, though.
No,
I'm saying.
you're
No,
twisting.
Chef, I had a point, Chef.
Let me
Chef, I
read
had a
something.
point.
Go ahead.
Chef, I had a point, Chef. Chef, I had a point.
I cut you off. Go ahead.
Chef, don't cut me
Let
off,
me
bro.
finish the point, baby.
Chef, don't cut me off. Right? So the point I'm making is this, right? Like, the same way, like, kind of try to equate, like, if black people, when you say black people today are affected by slavery, and this is my question to you, Chef, are you saying that the same way you can, because you made the analogy of lead poisoning, and I'm asking you, are you saying the same way that you can go to a doctor and show the physical effects of how someone's descendant is affected by lead poisoning? Are you saying that you can also show physically how you, whether physically or you can run mental tests on you and show that you have been affected by your heritage of slavery?
No, probably not. But
probably not. So why would you? So why would you feel like you should get reparations?
Because
that's not the crux.
Can I ask for that, Chef? Even though we asked you, because we actually can show the effects of slavery affecting us today.
Oh, but hold on. Let me deal with it from this standpoint, because I don't know if you can show that physically, right? But social and economic, yeah, you can.
So that epigenetics, environments.
Right. So that plays right into the physical.
Man, we don't have to sit up. We know America's all about the cash.
Wouldn't you have to prove?
Hold on for American dream. Hold on, American dream. American dream. Hold on for a minute. American dream. I know you think Chef is the only person you can talk to, bro. But relax yourself right now. All right? I'm trying to tell you, bro. I know you from the fucking Caribbean some damn where y'all be out there. I don't know what's swimming in the Caribbean, some shit. Okay. In America, it's about the dineros, the money. It's about having the ability to transfer wealth from one generation to the next. This is real American spirituality. When you die, you leave your kids something. This is what makes America, America, bro. Not about working 99 jobs, 3,000 hours a day. You make more money with your mind and not with your hands. So it's always been about your social economic status. So if I'm in a community, right, we belong to the PTA, right? We don't cry about not having enough computers. Everybody gives money to the PTA. In low income areas, they don't give money to the PTA. They don't understand that concept. The kids are trying to get breakfast in the morning. They go through a lot of shit, bro. It's not smooth like you think it is. Kids don't have book bags. They don't have proper shoes, right? They don't have proper medical care because all the parents are working all the time, working 2-3 jobs, dude. It puts them at a disadvantage where if something pop off for my kids, I can go right up to the school. I understand how to work the system. We're not putting blame. We're just having empathy on those that don't have the resources that we have or don't have the ability to take advantage of it. We want to put them in a position that one day they can stand up and say, I can read this and I clearly understand what I should do. We're not going to sit around and act like everybody can do what I did. That's just like me saying, oh, everybody should just stop getting high. Just like that, bro. Like, for me to say that, it's for you to say what you're saying. You're basically saying that, yo, we all got a chance for music to take advantage of it. Ain't no reason it's going to stop if we ain't change no more. And I'm saying that's not how it works. In the perfect world, yes. But in the real world, no. So whatever you're talking about, like I said before, what in the hell are you talking about, bro? Just because you can do it and had the opportunity to do it, doesn't mean everybody else had that same opportunity, bro. That's crazy to me.
I'm confused though. Like, if it's like if you and Chef were fighting for a check, right? Right, y'all trying to get a check together, right? Y'all fighting to get this check, right? Now, this check, I can't get this check, right? I'm confused as to why would I even be involved myself in the check that y'all trying to get, and then be not supportive of it. And that's not, and it ain't even coming at me. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's why I be confused about it. It's like if you're not an African American, then why even involve yourself in the reparation fight? Like what negative impact would it have on you that you feel a need to speak out against it?
Yeah, to fuck it up.
Well, if I can answer that question,
go ahead.
Let me put it better. Why you want to fuck it up for us, yo? Why you hating, yo? That's the real question. Why you hating? Why you want to fuck it up for us? What's your point? I'll give you a couple $, yo. You all right?
Right, and I think,
you some money you need, son.
And I think Ankh is actually asking it in a more honest way, because that's really what it's about. Like, he just feels like, people like me are just fucking up his free money, right? And he's mad at that because he just sees reparations as just free money. Right.
Wow,
but let me just say that.
No. Explain your
concern
and why does it affect you so that you feel to insert yourself in that conversation. Go ahead.
Right. The reason is because of what the same question I just asked Chef. Because if the idea of reparations is true, then what y'all are really like, because what's happening right now in terms of the bill in the Senate is talking about how reparations should be given out, right? Mm-hmm. And the one that's being supported is just give it to any black person, right? Because as long as you're black, you've been affected by slavery, right? Yeah, and it boils down to what Chef was saying in terms of, he feels like he doesn't have the same potential as someone who doesn't have a history of slavery. Right. And so the reason that I'm against the idea is because if you support reparations on a certain level, you're supporting the idea that there's something wrong with black people, that if you're saying something is wrong with, you're saying because of slavery, you don't have the same potential as everyone else. You're saying something is wrong with you. You're actually agreeing with the white supremacists that you're inferior. Now, which one of us is the coon You're the one saying black people are
No, we're saying we just want our money that you didn't pay. Hold on, bro, it's not even that complicated, yo. We simply saying we just want the damn money that our ancestors earned for building this motherfucker. That's all we saying. We not saying we incompetent. We not saying we weak. We saying pay the goddamn bill and give us our money owed. That's all we saying. You done made it all. It ain't even complicated, bro. Cut the check. That's all we're saying. Cut the check.
The justification you're using.
We're not justifying anything. We're saying that it was free labor. In America, you get paid for wages, yo, since the beginning of America, bro. We simply saying pay up. That's it, bro. It ain't even all this complicated shit you saying.
If somebody do something to you that injured you, right, you have a right to sue them. Now, can African Americans, American dream?
Chef, how did slavery injure you?
Hold on,
let me build, bro.
Let me build. If the African American community can prove that the American government helped injure them, is the American government liable in that case?
Before you speak,
hold on, say I asked him a direct question. I asked you a direct question. If the American
I'm out of here, man. I'm about to pick up an item and start shooting at the screen or something crazy. I can't do it.
If he's making the argument in the case of law to prove that, why would somebody else give a damn? Like, if it's not, like, if it don't affect you,
I know.
You care. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Cause he's a white American. That's why. If he show that screen, yo, he would be like a white American.
Hold on. I got a question. Now, I hate to call somebody a hater straight off the bat, right? So I will ask you this, American Dream. Do you feel as though that you are connected to African Americans? American Dream, you still there, bro?
You at the bar taking shots saying, hee-haw!
No, he's still there. He probably stepped away for a second.
Right, taking shots at the hip bar.
I'm sorry, guys. Ask the question again, please.
Do you feel some way that you're connected to the African American community in some type of way?
To the African American community?
Yeah, it's a community of African Americans that is that is America's original black community, right? Do you feel some type of connection to this African American community?
I think when I was younger, I think I did more when I was in college. I was, big into the Black Students Union, and I used to really be big into that. But I think that, from what I've learned, I think the best thing for whether it's African Americans or Jamaicans or any of us, I think the best thing for us to be doing in America is to consider ourselves Americans. I think if we consider ourselves Americans, that's what allows us to get the benefit out of America.
Okay. All right, now. So that's now at this point in your life, you don't feel a connection to the African American community, or what? Maybe I'm asking it wrong. Let me back up. All right.
I don't feel any
what makes you ashamed of being black?
To any other community.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, my point is, do you feel like you get lumped in with the African American community? Do you feel like America? Hold on. Do you feel like America, right, lumps you, right, because of your African descent, in with the African American community?
I think if we're still keeping it in the idea of reparations, yes.
I'm not talking about reparations yet. I'm saying, do you think when America look at you, first off, right, when you go for a job interview or when people see you in the workplace or anywhere, do you think that they perceive you first as an African American?
I don't really know what people think. I can't really speak for people. Like,
no, I'm saying before you open your mouth, and tell somebody that you are of Jamaican descent, right? Or that that you were born somewhere else. Do you believe that America sees
you? Say Jamaican.
Do you believe that America sees you as an African American first, and then you have to explain that you're not this African American? Because the reason why I'm asking is a question behind this.
I have no idea. I don't know if people look at me as an African American. I don't know. I have no idea. Like when I fill out,
maybe you don't understand the question.
You a nigga.
Right,
you an African American.
Maybe that's
you
the
are
problem.
African American in my eyes.
Hold on. So basically what I'm trying to get to. Hold on.
Let me just say this. Maybe this will help you clarify the question, right? Because Jamaicans that come here don't think of themselves as African Americans.
I know that. I'm asking you, do you believe that y'all are considered African or y'all looked at as African? Well, all of the negative stereotypes that African Americans have in this country, right? Do you think that it is good for people of Caribbean descent or people of African descent that come here from other places try to distance themselves from the negative stereotypes that is blanketed on the African American community?
But there are Black Americans that also try to distance themselves from that.
You're one of them.
But I'm asking particularly for in your case because I'm trying to get to you see how I help you get to your overall point? I want you to help me get to my overall point. Like it seems like you're fighting it. I don't do you like that.
No, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Like I'm really trying to see what you're saying. Like in my estimation, I don't think like my experience has been America could care less whether I'm a Jamaican or an African American. Like they looked at my resume, right? And they looked at my work ethic, and whether I was a Jamaican or an African American, that's what they were judging me on. It was my work ethic, and me personally, I like to think that that's what separated me from everyone else was my work ethic.
It does. Hold on, but it did.
So I don't think so.
No, I would never take away your personal. Hold on. I would never take away your personal accomplishments. This ain't even, man, I don't even think like that. Whatever you got, whatever you do, that's your shit, yo. But listen, this is what I'm trying to get to. Because from the statement that
I'm out of here.
I'm trying to figure out why, right, would you make arguments against the African American community getting reparations? And it's something that you said, right? You said, are we admitting that it's something wrong with us, right? Like that it injured us or our capacity to learn something fucked us up. So some type of inferiority, are we admitting some type of inferiority to whites because of slavery, right? So my thinking,
if you're asking for reparations, right? Because if you remember, you asked me something about whether you were like an injury, like you were saying, don't you think we were injured? Like that's what I'm saying. If you're asking for reparations, you have to admit that you have an injury. Right. And I'm asking you, what is your injury, Chef? Like, what is you, Chef? Right. What is your injury that you can prove, that you can show physically and say, here's I have this broken arm right here. You see, everybody else has, like everybody else has 600 brain cells. I only have 500 because of, like, what is your injury?
But listen, what's the Japanese American
reparations, you have to be admitting that you have an injury. And in my head, I don't think African Americans are injured. I don't think African Americans, I don't think there's anything wrong with them. Right. I think they're perfectly fine functioning human beings, and I don't understand why I'm being called a coon for believing that there's nothing wrong with African Americans. Like, it's weird to me how people who say there's nothing wrong with African Americans, they can function fine mind by themselves. They're independent human beings. Those are the people that y'all call coons and call sellouts and say they're not in the best interest of African Americans.
If somebody run into your car,
do
you drive? Do you drive?
Yes, sir.
All right. If somebody run into your car, right, purposefully, damage your automobile, right, it's taken away from your well-being. How? Because now you can't travel how you normally travel without them, you know what I mean, fucking up your car. You don't think that, first off, your car should be get made whole again, right? And then the damages that happened in your life, other than your physical, right? Let's scratch the physical out of that, right? You lost time from work, right? You couldn't take your kids to soccer practice, right? That you pay for. So you lost money and everything. It set your life back in a way. So don't you sue a person for those damages. I'm saying that slavery and segregation and discrimination damaged us. It set us back. You don't agree with that?
No, that's not. No, here's the proper analogy, Chef. Is now you're saying this is you. You're not the person asking for the person asking for reparations in this case is the child of that person who was in the accident, right? The child of that person who was in the accident is now claiming that the reason you don't have a car is because your ancestors got into an accident, and now you're going to the person who was in an accident with your ancestors, going, I don't have a car because you crashed into my great grandparents.
If my grandparents, right?
Hold on.
If my grandparents, right?
You weren't in the car accident.
Listen, hold on.
You're saying.
Listen to me.
It wasn't you in the car accident.
You heard? We made the point. Let
If my grandparents, right, could not, if it was illegal for them to own property, right? When for white people, they could own property. They could give this property, right? Their children could inherit that property and that wealth from their fucking family. So you're telling me that the person that's living now is not injured by the things that happened in the fucking past? Are you serious? Are you telling me if my grandparents, right, if it was legal for the government to discriminate on them and they couldn't own property, right? Then I couldn't inherit. While these white people could build fucking wealth over generations, but my people couldn't do that. You're telling me that that's not an injury.
So let me ask you this question, Chef.
Answer
a question.
Answer the question, then Bill. Answer the question.
Yeah, answer that. Yo, come on, yo. You're not even treating me as another fucking human being. That shit, you're not even treating me as another human being. You will understand that 100% coming from a fucking white person. If a white person said that they were held back, right, because their fucking ancestors couldn't build fucking wealth and bequeath that to their future generations, right? You would say, yeah, that's a fucking injury. You would say that's an injury to that. So, do your family own anything in Jamaica?
Does my family own? Of course.
Okay. Now, is it first generation ownership or is it second or third generation ownership?
Well, we built on it since, it's not what it was when they owned it. We made a freaking mansion. We made a mansion out of it.
Right, it was passed down.
But it came from a previous generation, right?
Yeah.
It came down to us as a 1-bedroom house.
Okay,
now it's a freaking mansion, brother.
It still doesn't matter.
What do you mean? No, what I'm telling you is no. So Chef, let me ask you this question, Chef. What percent of white people in America today do you think have wealth accumulated from slavery?
A lot.
No, hold on. No, not a lot. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't say a lot.
No,
it's not.
You're mistaken.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
I wouldn't say that.
Chef, it's a very small
I know
amount.
that was Sabio answered that. I don't agree with it. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Watch
Right. It's a very.
I'm gonna switch up since y'all said I'm wrong.
No, but
Chef, you see the idea you have in your head of generational wealth of white people being rich because of slavery?
No,
I didn't
preface
everything.
You get caught up. But listen, though, let me make this statement so that you get back in. When you look at when you're talking about generational wealth in white people, then you want to know, well, how did they acquire generational wealth? And most generational wealth that accrued by anybody is through is passed down. So most of the white people that are in a better position benefited from wealth that was passed down to them, whether it be homes,
wealth that was passed. But there's a difference between wealth that's passed down and wealth that's passed down from slavery. The white folks
slavery, slavery. Slavery is holding you up, yo. You don't listen.
Louise, do I scream at y'all like
that? No, because you keep going back to slavery, right? Do you know reparations extends past slavery, yo?
Yeah, it's not.
You gotta stop that, yo. You really got to. So from 1865 up to 1972, let's talk about that. If you don't like slavery, listen, from 1776 to 1865, right, that 89 years, say fuck that, right? I'm going to give you that.
You have a weaker case. Sabio, you'll have a weaker case then.
No,
slavery is a stronger case.
No, it's not.
Let him have the weak case. Let him have the weak case.
All right, well, let me defend the weaker case.
Let him have the weak case, bro. It's all good.
Okay, you want to defend
me on the weak case. Yeah. If it's weaker, kill me on it.
But that's so easy. Just do
it to him. Let's go.
Okay, so we're talking about reparations, right? Like, because I do support reparations, right? And I also don't support reparations. Whether I support it or not depends on the reparations you're talking about. Okay. If the reparations you're talking about, for example, if the reparations you're talking about, like, let's say redlining, if someone can come and show that they are a descendant of someone who went to, and they can show the record that they went to that bank, right? That bank that was found guilty of redlining, and they can show it, then I would say you give that person his reparations and he can show that because of that, his family wasn't able to invest in a business, and because of that, I would say yes, that individual may have a case for reparations, right? If somebody else was to come in and show their family heritage and their birth certificate and show that I am a descendant of that slave right there who was a slave all her life, and because of that, you know what I mean, I would say, okay, that person has a case for reparations. So the idea of reparations, I think, is open for discussion. The reparations I am against, and the reparations that I think makes Black people look inferior, is this idea of reparations. Let me finish, dog. Come on. The idea of reparations that I'm against is this idea of reparations where you get it just because you're Black. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to show that you're a victim of redlining. You don't have to show that you have a history going back to Jim Crow. You don't have to show that your descendants were slaves. All you got to do is show up and be like, I'm Black, I deserve some money. Like, that idea is silly as hell to me.
I've been stopped talking. I realized that me and this man just don't agree on this point, yo. And, you know, it's nothing that I was going to say that was going to change his mind, and there was nothing. I poured my heart out to him, yo. It didn't move that nigga, yo. Yeah, that nigga heartless, yo.
He heartless. He said, if they sent me $100,000 check and sent my kids to college, I told my kids you can't go.
Right.
It's disrespectful to my ancestors. Yeah, I'm taking that check and sending it back.
The nigga heartless, yo, like
heartless.
He beat me tonight. I ain't gonna lie. I pulled my motherfucking heart out, yo, and that nigga looked at me like I was crazy. Like, that shit ain't move him.
Hey chef, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead, bro.
Do you think it's possible that I feel the same way about you? Do you think it's possible that I feel like I poured my heart out to you and it didn't even move you?
Yeah,
you think that's possible?
Possibly.
Yeah, okay.
I definitely felt you.
Just know that as strongly as you feel about
Right.
it, as strongly as you feel like you poured your heart out, the fact that you poured your heart out doesn't really mean anything, because
I know it didn't mean nothing to you.
Right.
No, but I definitely felt you. Listen,
my pouring my heart out didn't mean anything to you either. So
hold on. No, I felt.
It.
Listen, I felt you when you said, you know, I don't want y'all accepting no damn reparations, because, you know, in turn, is that going to say, you know, that there's something wrong with me because I went through slavery. My people went through slavery also. So I felt you on that. It ain't like, listen, the shit go both ways. If we both throwing, anybody can get hit. You know what I mean? But I wasn't acknowledging anything genetically wrong with me or with the African Americans because of slavery, right? I don't think African Americans are saying that it's something inherently wrong with us because of slavery. You get what I'm saying? It's more of a social and economic injury more than anything. All right,
yeah, bro, an injury is an injury. You can't say we're injured if there's nothing wrong with us. Like you're talking about. No.
Yeah, but I'm saying that
genetically, that use the word injury.
Biologically,
you're injured, but there's nothing wrong with you.
No, biologically, there's nothing biological wrong with us. Like I'm not saying that we have a lower capacity.
So there's something mentally wrong with you?
No,
so there's something mentally
wrong with you. If I say it's social and economic, I'm saying that the complete opposite of what you're trying to.
No, that's saying it's mental.
No, social?
Yes.
So okay.
You're saying you cannot function socially.
No, I didn't say that.
Something mentally wrong with you.
No,
you said your problem is social and economical. If you cannot function socially because of slavery, you're saying something is wrong with you mentally.
No,
if you're not able to function economically, able to function economically because of the history of slavery, then you're saying something's wrong with you mentally.
Yes, because it's an injury. Listen,
okay,
I'm not saying
so something is wrong with you mentally.
Yo, hang. Listen, can a people be hurt? All right, discrimination in a society. Does that hurt? Does that fuck with your capacity and your mental capacity in any way, or does it hold you back socially? Meaning you couldn't move around in society as freely as another person. Meaning the same things that was given to other people socially, meaning not in dealing with each other, but social in the sense of the society, right? Social society, all of those, that got something that, you know, those words are linked together for a reason. So in this,
tell you though, Chef.
Huh?
I gotta tell you though, me personally, I believe that like people that are overweight go through more discrimination socially than black people, and I think that they're like what they go through because of their overweightness and the fun that gets made of them. I think that yes, they do that. Does that affect them? Does that affect their minds and their thinking? Yeah, it can have an effect on them. Of course, it can. Obesity.
So you think I would sit here and disagree with you on got discrimination, right, against obesity or any other group that's marginalized or feel marginalized because of societal norms? You're never gonna hear me be a person that's gonna put my blackness over top of another marginalized group for whatever reason. I don't believe my blackness trumps or my history or the history of African Americans in America trumps other people discrimination and suffering. So you talking to the wrong person. I think that I think that everybody has a fight that was that's discriminated on and marginalized, right? Historically,
So would they have a case for reparations as well? No, right? I don't think so.
No.
Argument. I think. Let me just say this, Chef.
They wouldn't have a case. Listen.
Their argument. Let me just please get this out. Their argument of the discrimination that they go through. I'm talking about people that are overweight. The discrimination that they themselves personally experience, and it having an effect on them mentally. Right, because it happened to them personally. I think they have a stronger argument than you.
And they can sue for that shit.
Let me just finish, please, Chef. I think they have a much stronger argument than you, who's saying that you're mentally affected by the stuff that your great grandparents went through. Really? Like, it's stuff you didn't go through that. And you're telling me that something is wrong with you because of the slavery you did not experience. I get the overweight person saying he's mentally distressed by the discrimination he's facing because of his overweightness. But you saying something is wrong with you because
I will say white people admit
it's just ridiculous to me.
White people didn't admit.
Hey peoples, can y'all hear me? Am I in the house? Am I, are y'all hearing me? Somebody in the chat, let me know if y'all hearing me. We only got 5 likes, man. Can we get them likes up? Let's get those likes up, please. I'm trying to drop that link, but it's gonna cost y'all 10 likes. Let's get those likes up. We'll drop the link and get some building going on about this topic. So let's get those likes up, please. We need a handful of likes before the link door is open. It takes 10 likes to open the door to the link. So you know what I mean, let's get it done so we can get a build going and have a good show. But let's continue listening to this.
The injuries that they caused the African American community. So
right.
I don't have to argue with you about it when the group, right? When the majority group in this country, when their social scientists and them looked at it, they admitted to the goddamn. So I don't have. If you don't get it, that's on you. But I'm not gonna let you listen. Even the world. I guarantee you that the world body, right? Even Europeans at law, the world body of European nations.
The world body of Europeans, is that a real thing?
Yes.
The world body of Europeans.
The European nations admitted, right, to injuring black people that was caught up in the transatlantic slave trade. They admitted to it.
Even the ones who weren't involved?
No, I'm saying the nations. The nations took responsibility for the injuries that was caused to the African descendant people who, yes, they admitted to that shit. So I'm sorry that you can't admit to it.
The injury that you hold on. Did they admit to the injury that they caused back in slavery, or did they?
That's still the lingering effects. Yeah, they are lingering effects. They are lingering effects. Social lingering effects.
African countries did that as well. African countries did that as
well.
No,
so everybody is admitting it, but you, motherfucker. So you're telling me, do you get that? Everybody, you said the white people didn't admit it, the African nations didn't admit it, and you're the only one sitting here denying it. Think about that.
No, hold on.
We said we just want to get paid for that shit, Nick.
Hold on. Chef. Calm down. My understanding,
I got excited.
They apologized for their role in the slave trade, not for your injury. They never apologized to say, "Oh, yo, Chef, I'm sorry that you now can't get a job." That's not what they apologized for. But that's what you want them to pay you money for.
So are you willing to stand on that statement?
Chef, hold on. Do you understand it?
Let me pull this. Are you willing to stand on that statement?
Apologize. Go ahead.
I asked you a question.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
So you said that they didn't apologize for the lingering effects of slavery and racism.
They apologized for their participation in the
They
slave
did that.
trade.
That's one thing that they apologized for. Now I'm talking about the lingering effects of the communities, right?
No way they apologized for that.
Cool. And now you're saying you're willing to stand on that.
Was wrong with you?
Huh?
So they admitted that something was wrong with you. And
no,
you
listen. I'm not trying. Listen, I'm not the person that's trying to catch you up. Listen, I'm a friendly conversationalist. I might be excited right now. Either. I'm not trying to catch you up, right? I'm not trying to snag you in any way, right? You don't have to try to answer my questions like they loaded, yo. I wouldn't even do that to you. So I'm gonna say this again. You just said that European nations didn't apologize for the lingering effects of the discrimination and slavery. You saying that they only apologize for the enslaved people that they enslaved.
For their role in the slave trade.
Yeah,
the same thing that
I agree with that part.
Apologized for.
So okay, I agree with that part. So now it's another part to it.
Chef, the problem is you're using their apology and you're trying to make it seem as if they apologized for the injury that you have.
No. And they did. They did.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. So I'm saying, okay, so now we at a critical point, right? Now, if I could show you that the white people didn't apologize for that, would you be willing to change your stance? Not saying that you got to be convinced by the white man. Like, I wouldn't even put that on you. But if the people that we claim that we want reparations from, right, then admitted to this injury, not just to the people that they directly enslaved, but to their what's the word I'm looking for?
Predecessors? Is that the right word?
Yeah, something like that. To us, like to the communities that exist now that come from that, right? So now we at a critical point. I'm saying that if I could show you that that European nations didn't apologize, right, for that, are you willing to relook at your stance? Not saying change it, but are you willing to?
If a European country apologized and said, "Yo, American Dream, I am so sorry."
Not American Dream. Come on, don't.
Okay. If they listen, just let me finish. If they apologized and said to me that they were sorry for their role in slavery, which is what has now injured me, which has now caused many of the injuries that I have, I would more likely go to them for reparations. Absolutely. You're right. You would then have a case for them because they absolutely think they hurt you, right? But my case is I don't think nobody hurt me. So anybody who comes to me, I'd be like, I don't understand. You're going to give me some money for what? Okay, whatever. Right? But
yo, did you really just say, oh my God.
So that's what you would have.
Hold on, man. Let me jump in. Hold on for a minute. Hold on for a minute. Bro, hold on.
Go ahead and show me.
Hold on for a minute. Hold on, bro. I know you fucking hear me saying hold on. We heard you. I don't can take
you say hold on. You don't hold on when I say hold on.
Yeah, because I can click the button and get your crazy ass out of here.
Whatever,
right,
man.
Now, I'm not trying to yell and holler at you, bro. You talk for a very, very long moment. What I'm trying to tell you is this is where your critical thinking skills must be applied. Nobody on planet Earth actually thinks that the racism that occurs, the systemic racism that occurs in North America just popped up out of nowhere. It's connected to the global destruction of indigenous people, bro. It doesn't just fall out the sky. What I'm trying to say and making it clear in crystal words, that the feeling you have when you're looking in the face of a white police officer didn't just start in our generation. And it didn't just start in my mother and father's generation. And it didn't just start in my grandmother's generation or my great-great-grandmother's generation, which was a slave in Belvedere in South Carolina. It started from day one, bro, and it's been perpetual. I do not understand how you don't get that our relationship that we have with these people have been fostered for a very long time. It didn't just start occurring. That's why we all went out and marched when the brother got choked and died. That's why we did it. We didn't just do it because it just started. We did it because we thought of it continually to happen over and over. It's called systemic racism. Systemic racism means that the institutions is galvanized by it. It's in the game. It's in the institution. And what was the crucial institution? They called it slavery, bro. Slavery was the institution. The Papist Bulls that I was talking about. It was legal. It was legality. To be racist and to enslave indigenous people was a legal enterprise. It was the law, bro. Jim Crow was the law. It was that's why Martin Luther King had to fight against the laws, man. Why are you doing this, dude? You just like you almost trying to do it. Like, you can't be that crazy. They act like they didn't just, they didn't do it to you. Bro, but the laws did it to me. Laws that are still on the books. Did you know that if a woman is pregnant in prison, they can literally kill the baby? Like, that's still a law in some prison systems, in some states. We're talking about you keep worrying about the people, but the law outlives the people, man. The institutional slavery, the institutionalization, the criminality still lives on. So you're actually saying it just ended with the slave trade and the process didn't continue? Man. I'm talking about pouring your heart out to you. You're not pouring your heart out to us. You're simply saying, I don't give a damn about laws. I don't give a damn. The United States did do that. You said all that in the conversation. Well, the United States didn't have it. Like, it's the people that make laws. Like, I cannot believe this, bro. Like you think the racist, seriously, do you think, am I wrong in saying that systemic racism, do you know what systemic racism is? It's in the institutions, yo. So it's not even the people, it's the institutions, yo. And people just follow suit, bro. So we're a product of the institutions, man. That's all I'm saying, bro.
He said it's a myth, yo.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
Hey, what's happening, people? We are live. We are in the building. You heard what we got? We got 2 more likes to go before we drop the link. We only got 8 likes in here, and we got 12 people in the building and only 8 likes. We should at least, we can get 10 likes. You know what I mean? So if you're watching, wake up and hit that like button so I can drop this link for a couple of heads in the chat. Claude Zandam, blessings to you. Dex, you done know once again. Kwame, what it do? Good to see you, young brother. Dadine, good to see you. American Kid, first time I'm seeing your name. Welcome to the channel. Bless yourself. Hit subscribe and hit that like button. We need 2 more likes to drop that link. Yeah, so we're here. I need 2 more likes and I'll drop the link. Until then, enjoy the song.
Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are great.
Let me do it like this. I think it comes through better like this.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Brought us from the motherland in bondage and chains. Bury our culture and change our names. They claim we're free, yet we are in pain. As long as there's life, there's a lot to gain. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. When God spoke his words, they said he was deranged. Marley sung his songs, they said the same. Malcolm X and Martin Luther fought relentlessly so we could be better. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Brought us from the motherland in bondage and chains. Bury our culture and change our names. They claim we're free, yet we are in pain. As long as there's life, there's a lot to gain. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Of righteousness, they say we are praise.
Hey, peace. What's happening, everyone? On our deal with.
Ooh, yeah. Nah, nah, nah.
Suddenly there came a sound from heaven, as of a rushing mighty wind, like the rushing of a mighty wind. Like the rushing of a mighty wind. Come and fill our hearts again. Like the rushing of a mighty wind. Like a river that is overflow. Like a river that is overflow. Come and fill our hearts once more, like a river that is overflow. Let it overflow, 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 let it overflow.
Yeah, blessings. Once again, you know the routine, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. All of that helps. So you don't know. Without any further ado, let's get started. If y'all have always been here, why do you refer to yourself as a descendant of chattel slavery? Why aren't you a descendant of the native black people that were here?
Oh, that's a great question. We had an ethnogenesis. See, during slavery, they started breeding our ancestors, the natives, and they were breeding hundreds, if not thousands, of different tribes. A few Africans were thrown in the mix for sure. They had East Indian slaves. A few thousand East Indian slaves are documented being here. Threw them in the mix, and these slave owners like Thomas Jefferson, and then they bred themselves into that. So we are an amalgamation of the natives with elite European admixture, the slave owners. That's a fact.
So you're
Even
more more of a descendant of people that were bred.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly who we are. We had an ethnogenesis during slavery where they bred us with each other. It sent us all, like Wall Street said, they sent us all around America, breeding us, selling us. And the slave owners like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, they bred themselves into that. And that's
so it's more likely. So if you are bred,
the Aboriginal people.
Yeah, if you are bred, it's more likely. So you would have African ancestry because they weren't just breeding the native that were here from the beginning. They were breeding y'all with the Africans, right?
No, because Africans, only a few, 10,000, 50,000. They're only a drop in the rain bucket. We are the only Americans. The descendants of chattel slaves are the only Americans. Everybody else are immigrants. All white people come from Europe, immigrants. Africans, Caribbeans, Latinos, Asian, men, Arabs. Everybody in America are all immigrants, and they all understand.
You said there were 5 million slaves here that are not from Africa, and some of them came from Mongolia. So wouldn't they also be American? How are you the only Americans?
Because we are the grand amalgamation of them. We are the Mongoloid and the native blacks.
You call slave breeding. You call slave breeding a grand amalgamation?
Yes, that's what they did. They literally bred us.
I'm saying, listen. No one like the idea of breeding people today would sound crazy, because breeding people is treating them as if they're animals. So no one would ever go back. Like, if you were to want to start a new ethnogenesis starting today, there's no way in my mind that y'all would do it through breeding, the way they breed dogs and horses. And if that's how you would, if that's what you're proud of, if that's the ethnogenesis that you're proud of, where y'all were forced to have the women, which were more possibly really young girls, were forced to have sex with people they didn't know. And then once they had that child was taken away from them, and they had so there was no love between you and between the mother or even the father and that child. That child would not
all
even.
Cases,
Let me finish. That child, it's more likely that child that was bred had no contact with their parents, and so didn't grow up with loving parents. And so that would be a part of the ethnogenesis of FBA, is that they don't know who their parents are, and they're just born and just stripped from their parents. And if that's what you consider a grand amalgamation,
it is,
that sounds retarded to me, for lack of a better word. For you to put pride in being bred
like a dog
is retarded to me.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are.
Hey, peace, Dex.
Yo, what's happening?
Ain't nothing much. What's on your mind today?
Nah, I was just, as usual, listening to both sides of the conversation.
Okay. Which side are you on today?
I'm for reparations, but I'm not for it in the way that they want it.
I don't think. Well, how do you? What type of reparations do you support?
So the problem with the FBA, as what we would call it, is that they want the reparations in the form of American currency. And we all know that the American currency isn't backed by any mineral, nothing. It's just a piece of paper. And the moment that you get these reparations, the dollar is going to decrease in value and inflation is going up already as it is. So it's not going to really mean anything to get the reparations. So what I would suggest is the reparations should be a global thing, and it need to be, because the transatlantic slave trade was a global thing, and it was one transatlantic slave trade. So all of these
But what type of currency though? You said that you don't want them to get it in American dollars because that's going to be losing its value. So the global reparations, what currency?
Land. We don't need
Land.
any land. Land would be the best currency. And
Okay,
the reason why
land where?
The land over here, and the land on the motherland, and the land wherever our people reside.
So Americans would get land in America. Caribbeans would get land in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Africans would get land in Africa, like that.
It'll be different in the way of Africa, but yeah, pretty much. Or if we want, it depends where we want the land to be at too. If we want land in Africa, we can get it in Africa. You know, because that's the motherland.
And the American government would just buy you some land in Africa.
As a form of reparations, I think that we should get it over here and start to generate the currency here, and then spend that currency and over there. That's how I think it should be done, in my opinion.
Start to generate currency here. You mean using the land? You're going to use the land to generate currency?
Yeah.
But isn't that currency going to be that same U.S. dollar that isn't going to be worth anything? So what would be the point?
The point is the land is making the currency. So it would be, we built.
But the money is still going to be affected by inflation and everything else, and the value of the money you're getting is still going to be, you know, I mean, you're going to have the same issue with currency value, with the value of the money.
You're not, because you have the land. The land is what makes the currency. Currency mean current, the current payment.
But the land doesn't make you the money. Like if you plant tomatoes and sell the tomatoes and get American dollars for it, the fact that you're using the land to sell your tomatoes to make tomatoes doesn't mean the money you're going to get from it isn't going to be affected by inflation. So you still have to worry about whether you get cash or land. You're still going to have to worry about inflation with the money.
But that's still an assumption. You could sell goods anywhere. You could sell it anywhere. You don't need to just sell it in America.
So where are we going to sell our goods at? Where are we going to sell our goods? Like African Americans that get land in America.
Sell it anywhere where you could capitalize off of it.
With where the money is worth more than the dollar.
It don't matter as long as you getting the currency that you getting out of your product. So if I'm selling it to you for this, if I have this product and I'm selling it to you for X amount of money, then that's what it's gonna be. I don't care what currency it is. It just got to be worth the value of my product. That's all it is.
Like, what % of African Americans do you think would choose land over a cash payment?
I think I would say upwards to 90-some% if they smart.
Would prefer? I don't know, bro.
Yeah, I think more people would actually prefer land over American currency.
I mean, I'm sure some of them would, but I don't know if it's going to be 90% of them. I doubt it.
I think most people would actually prefer land.
Okay. I mean, you may be right.
What would you want? Would you want the land or you want the money? The money is not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold, not backed by anything. According to
money hasn't been backed. U.S. dollar hasn't been backed by anything since forever. And it doesn't stop me from taking that money and buying a house, even though it's not backed by gold. You can still buy stuff with the money. I mean, even if you get land, even if you get land and make and grow tomatoes that you sell, that's not going to make the money that you get for the tomatoes now be backed by gold simply because you got land to. I mean, it all comes back to money. Like it's always going to come back to money.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. The land is what makes the money. If the white man did not own America, he wouldn't be generating as much money as it's generating because he wouldn't have any profits.
If the white man didn't what?
So you don't believe that minerals come from the earth, or do you not, or do you think that like money just is generated through the minds of these people?
I mean, minerals do come from the earth,
Right. So
and other places as well.
Such as oil, copper, gold, diamonds.
Okay, but you're gonna, yeah, but that's valuable because you can sell it and get money.
Rubber, whatever. Yeah, but we also could barter and trade. I never making an assumption of that we need the American currency. If whatever I'm getting for my product is same in return, then that's what it could be. I never said that we need the American dollar. That's not what I'm saying. As long as we got the land and we reaping the benefits of the land, then that's all that should matter.
Okay. So where would America get this land from?
It's
to give
right
to
here.
them.
What are you talking about? What sense are you making?
Just open space. That's wherever there's land. Just give it to them.
I mean, that's a question that you have to ask them. But I think it should be for the land that they wanted to give us in the first place, wherever they was gonna have it. They said 40 acres and a mule, right?
Why didn't that work out before?
Because they simply didn't want to pay, or it was gonna bankrupt them.
Right. So why do you think? And today there are millions more. We still only have the same amount of land, and now there are millions more black folks. So they would have to give out millions more shares of 40 acres and a mule.
Yeah,
so why wouldn't it bankrupt them today?
But that's a good question. But I think in the context of we should all come together. That's why I'm saying there should be one global reparations. We should all come together and figure out how to divide amongst each other. That's what should really happen.
Right, but okay, so countries that didn't have any slavery, those countries wouldn't be involved, right?
Countries that didn't have any slavery is going to be involved as long as they benefited from it.
And are we only talking about the Atlantic slave trade?
I mean, if you want to get that deep, I believe it should be not just from the European. I think it should be also from the Arabs, because they owned us as slaves longer than the European. All the European did was become a better slave master than the Arabs.
Okay, and and the Arabs also enslaved other Arabs as well. So those Arabs would.
That's neither here nor there, though.
What you mean? You said it was going to be a global. You said it was going to be global.
No, but we're talking about African people around the globe. We're not talking about.
Oh, so you're only talking about a global reparations movement just for African people, like anywhere in history where Africans have been enslaved.
Yes.
Then they would get okay. What about so the Europeans that were enslaved by Africans? Like they'd have to come up with their own reparations claim.
Hold on, you're using the straw man fallacy. You're trying to use reverse psychology into saying something that I'm not generating. I'm not talking about the European at all.
But I'm saying if there's a global reparations claim going back all the way back in history. If you're going all the way back in history to whenever Africans were enslaved by anyone, why wouldn't
If you're a European, you deserve no reparations. You should already reap the benefits from the slavery yourself. So it makes no sense for a European to get any benefits.
But Europeans were enslaved as well. They've gone through slavery. Why don't they deserve reparations for the slavery they endured?
Listen, we are talking about African people. We're not talking about the Arabs. We're not talking about the Europeans. We're talking about African people.
Yeah, but why would a European country get involved if Europeans weren't going to be getting reparations for the enslavement they went through? Why would any European?
I'm say it one more time, and if I got to keep talking in circles, I'm just not going to talk. But I just said they should have already reaped the benefit. They already reaped the benefits. Any European on the planet Earth right now has reaped the benefits off of the transatlantic slave trade and the slave trade before then. They already reaped the benefits.
Did Africans reap the benefit of the of the Atlantic slave trade that they were involved with? Because Africans. Hold on, let me just say this. Africans. Let me finish, Dex.
Yes.
Africans have been involved. Were also involved in the Atlantic slave trade. It was a trade. They were actually selling slaves, right?
Yes.
So what about? Are they going to be? Have they reaped the benefits of that slave selling that they were involved with?
Can you say that last part again? I really didn't hear you.
You said white people won't get reparations because they've reaped the benefits of slavery.
Right.
Some African nations have also reaped the benefits of slavery. They were selling slaves and they reaped the benefits of that as well. So would they also be involved? Like I'm not understanding.
Okay, let me answer. Yes, they are currently right now giving out reparations to African American people. It should be expanded to not just the African American people, but to the people in the Caribbean, anywhere that they sold them off to. But there's actually they're actively doing that right now. If you go buy land over there, they'll give you twice the amount of land. If you go over there, they give you dual citizenship. If you want dual citizenship, if you want citizenship, you can get citizenship. So that's the reparation that they owe us, and they've been the Ghanaians right now are giving it out to us. That has nothing to do with the European giving us what we are owed.
What I'm saying, but if all of that, like, are they calling it reparations?
Yes.
Wait, the year of return thing, that's called They're labeling this a reparations thing.
Yes, the Ghanaian president, you can go look at him, bro. You can go look this up right now. I'm not just making this up off the top of my head. They're giving out reparations as we speak.
So you don't have to pay for the land. They're just giving it away.
Yes. I just told you that. And if you are paying for the land, they're giving you extra land. So why would it make any difference? They give
because
you
I don't know. Can you source that you can go to Ghana and get land for free? Can you source that for me?
And I can give you a source.
No. Just share. You know how to share your screen, right?
No, I don't. I'm not really good with technology in the sense right now.
Yeah, well, if you're not good, you'll have to pull something up and show that.
Okay, I could give
we can move to Ghana and get free land.
I could give you an example.
No, I need a source, not an example.
I can give you.
You got to source what they're saying.
I can give you a person that's actually over there right now
that got land for free.
Yeah, yes, and that's building land with his own money too. At that
building on the land.
Yes,
with his own money.
For very cheap, with his own money as well.
I mean, I don't. Anecdotal stuff isn't really a source that because I don't really
living right now that's over there right now, building whatever you want and for a cheaper price than you would do it. Whatever we living on and rent and monthly costs, bro, you could be over there spending that right now and be getting more than what you think. Like right now, $1,500 will give you.
So he is spending his own money. So he's not reparations. He's spending his own money.
I said on top of that. I said on top of what they already gave him. That's what I just said.
So if that can count as reparations, why can't like affirmative action, the welfare, why can't all of that stuff count as reparations here?
That's not reparations. That's specifically for the American citizen.
But black Americans take advantage of those things on a on a large scale. So if
as we should, and we're not actually
well, why
actually.
isn't that reparation? Why can't that be reparations?
Allow me to respond. Actually, black people aren't the most people that are on those programs. It's actually the American white guys, Europeans, that's actually more on there than anybody else.
That's on what?
That's on welfare and all these programs, government programs. The white people are on it more than any other race.
Oh, okay. So because there's a lot of white people on it, that can't be reparations?
That's not a form of reparations. Reparations mean repair.
Okay, but so what's going on in Ghana isn't reparations if your friend is there using his own money.
Food is not reparations.
So what's going on in Ghana with your friend is not reparations because he's spending his own money.
I said on top of what they already gave him.
Well, I don't believe you that they gave him anything. I don't believe you.
You don't have to believe me. I can give you the source.
That's why. No, I asked you for a source and you said you don't have any. You wanted to give me your anecdote.
Dude, I never said I didn't have any. I said I can give you the source. I just can't do it on the screen right now. I can give you the source.
Okay, well, I'm looking. Yeah, well, I'd have to see that source where Ghana is giving away land for free, and you come there and I'm sure there's a house on this land, right? Hold on, is there a house on the land?
What about yes, it's houses. It's multiple.
They give you a land with a home.
Listen, it's
so they give you a house with a home on it.
Dude, you're not even listening. You're just responding and not allowing me to even.
I'm just asking you for clarity. Is there a house on the land that you get?
Yes.
So they give you a home for free.
Dude, you can go look these things up. If you don't want to look it up, I have a source for you.
Do they pay for your plane ticket?
This dude is not listening.
No, I'm just asking. Do they pay for your plane ticket as well?
So I got a question. Is dual citizenship not enough?
Not enough for what?
For the reparations. Just dual citizenship alone. Is that not enough?
If affirmative action isn't enough, then no.
What why are you comparing the European?
I'm saying, hold on. Well, if that was the case, hold on. If that's the case, right? If getting citizenship in Ghana is enough of reparations, then Black Americans got enough reparations when they became citizens. Hold on. No, you hold on. No, you hold on. Let me say what I'm saying.
Got reparations for missing out on their slaves. So conversation really
Dex. If Ghana can give whatchamacallit, citizenship.
Do we talking as
stop cutting me off, Dex. If Ghana can give citizenship as reparations, then Black Americans would have to count the fact that they got citizenship here in 1868. That was reparations because they got their citizenship. So that's why isn't that reparations?
Dude, we were forced over here. We didn't ask to be here. You acting like we asked to be here. That's the problem.
But you're not being forced to stay here, Dex. You're not being forced to stay here. Why don't you just leave?
Let me respond.
You could have left right after slavery, but nobody wanted to leave. Dude, they gave y'all land in Liberia. The same way, hold on, Dex. The same way you're saying they're giving you land in Ghana. America gave y'all land in Liberia, and Black Americans didn't want to leave. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, because I'm listening to you, but you're not allowing me to respond to every point you make. But this is what I'm saying. Affirmative action has never been a form of reparations for just the African American. Has never.
I know it hasn't. I know, but it has been.
So you cannot say that's reparation. If that was the case, then you're saying that they're repairing the Europeans as well, because the Europeans actually use those programs more than
for anyone that's poor. It's for anyone that's poor that needs their wages repaired. It's a form of reparations.
So I got a question. So you're saying that it was okay for the slave master to get reparations before us?
It was more legal. It was more. What's up, son? How are you? Bless yourself. It was more. It was legal. It was so it was more
I'm
right
not asking
because
you if it was legal. I'm saying it was it okay? Was it okay?
Yeah, because they lost their property. They literally lost they didn't do anything illegal, right? Owning slaves was legal, and when
But
slavery ended,
we're talking about
let
morality.
me answer your question
Talk
though.
about
Let me answer your question. Owning slaves was legal, so they weren't doing anything illegal by having slaves. And when they lost those, when slavery became illegal, they lost their property and they lost a lot of their wealth. Um, and so, you know, that was the reason why they got reparations, is because they lost a lot of their wealth. And it's not as if they accumulated that wealth by doing anything illegal. So that's why they
get
had
that.
a
I
case
get
for reparations.
I understand that it was a law at the time. I'm talking about morality. I'm not talking about law. Law has nothing to do with morality.
But reparations has to do with law.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Sure it does.
We're asking them to simply repair the harm that they did. Morality. It has nothing to do with law.
Yeah, but it's the HR 40 thing that's going through
We don't
Congress.
need that's the
So the thing that's going
FBAs
through
that are doing
Congress
that.
is
That's the
isn't
FBAs.
that trying to make it a law or something?
Listen, that's the FBAs that are doing that. We're not trying to get any legislation. We're asking them to simply repair the damage that has been done. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking for any laws to be signed in or anything. All you got to
So
do
how
is
are you damaged? How are you damaged?
hand over the land. It's that
I'm
simple.
gonna ask you one more question, then I'm gonna go to another guest that just came in. How are you damaged?
Systemic racism.
How did systemic racism damage you?
Opportunity.
How are you damaged?
Opportunity.
What do you mean opportunity? Like, what does that mean? Like, how are you damaged and you say opportunity? Like, I don't know what you mean by that.
Listen, as a whole, we don't own anything. We don't
You don't own anything.
yeah, we as a whole, I'm talking as a whole. We
I'm
don't
asking
own
about
anything.
you. No. I'm talking about you personally. How were you personally damaged? Not as a whole, because you personally want your money.
Systemically. It's systemic. If you don't
How?
know,
What is wrong with you?
systemically,
What is wrong with you? How are you damaged?
we're damaged by a system. Do you not know what a
How?
system is?
How? Do you have a broken hand? Do you have a broken leg?
Well, that has
Do you
my,
have
my hold on,
are
listen.
you mentally slow?
Listen,
Like,
listen,
what is your
listen.
damage?
But listen. It's psychological damages. It's all type of different damages. I'm giving you a system.
So which one do you have? You have a psychological damage.
All black people have psychological damage.
All black people have a
All black people
psychological.
in
What type of
America,
psychological
all
damage?
black people in America have psychological damage. This is not up for
What's
debate.
wrong
We
with
can
them
go look at
psychologically?
statistics of crime. We can look at any of these things, bro. What are you talking about?
The crime rate. So that's why black people have a high crime rate, is because they're
We don't
psychologically
have the
damaged.
same. Yeah, we don't have the same opportunity, and we never had. If somebody listen, if you've been playing Monopoly, right, and I said, and if we were playing Monopoly together, and I said, look, you can't play until I already own everything on the board, and then you could play. How is that fair? That I'm systemically oppressing you in the game of Monopoly. I'm saying
And
you
that's
cannot. I got all the roles. I got everything. All you could do is stay in jail, or stay off the board. How is that? How is that right? How is that fair? How are we getting off on the same foot? How are we not on the same start?
so you don't think you're on the same start as everyone else. You don't think you have the
Everybody in
same.
America knows this. I don't know why people on the internet act like this is not true.
I don't even know you. I don't even know you. How do I know this about you when I don't
Are
even
you
know you?
American? Are you American?
Yeah, I'm an American. Yes.
No. Are you? Were you born over here?
No.
Okay, then. So this is not a conversation up that you understand. What are you
Okay, then why are you on here talking to me then? Just for that, I'm gonna you hold on for a second. I'm gonna speak with KD real quick. Leonard, can you mute out real quick? KD, blessings to you. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. How about yourself? Can you hear me good?
Yeah, man, I can hear you real well. I can't complain enough. Medea Guan. What's on your mind?
No, man, I'm just listening to the conversation, man, and it sounds to me, I guess you don't think that black people should get reparations. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, I don't think it's in their best interest.
All right. What would you say is the reason for that, if you don't mind me asking?
The reason that I don't think it's in their best interest?
Right.
Because I think they would be saying what Dex is saying, that something is psychologically wrong with them. And I think that it's not in their best interest to go around saying there's something wrong with them psychologically. I think they would be kind of admitting that they are inferior, and they would be proving the so-called white supremacists right. But that's why I just don't think, I think if they accept reparations, they'll be admitting something is wrong with them, and they would give everyone else the right to look at them as if something is wrong with them.
Gotcha.
You know, and that's why I don't support it, because I don't think there's anything wrong with Black Americans. You know, I don't want to repeat myself, but they're walking on a really, you know what I mean, on a slippery slope, because if they get this money, they won't be able to complain about anything anymore, because you said the reason you had this high murder rate, high criminal
Never said money. I
rate
said
is.
land.
Well, let me say what I'm saying. After money or land or whatever, after you get this stuff, you have to be fixed. You know what I'm saying? You have to, now your murder rate got to go away now. And if it doesn't, you know what I mean, people are going to look at you like something is wrong with you. And when you got the reparations, you didn't use it to repair yourself. So I just think it's not in their best interest, mainly because I think they'll be admitting something is wrong with them. Me personally, I don't think something is wrong with me because of slavery. Like, if I was to say something, all of my shortcomings is because of slavery, I'd just be looking for an excuse, bro. That's just how I feel about it. And I'm not in the game of pretending something is wrong with me in order to get some free money.
Could I get 10 seconds real quick? I don't
No,
mean
hang
to.
on. I don't think KD was finished.
Yeah. No. I just want to say something. 10 seconds.
No, let KD finish
So you don't think
say what he has to say.
So you don't think when these
Wait,
women
hold
walk around with
on,
meat?
fam. Hold on 1 second. Let me
Go
just.
ahead.
So essentially, you're saying that you're not necessarily disagreeing with the fact that it's old, but more so with the fact that you don't think that Black people are prepared to receive those type of funds right now. You don't. Am I understanding that correctly?
Um, no, I'd say that my strongest, I have a few objections. My strongest objection is what I said. They'd be admitting something is wrong with them, or they'd be claiming that they're psychologically inferior, and that's why they can't function like normal people. So they'd be admitting something is wrong with them. That's I would say that's my main number one objection to why I disagree with reparations. But I have other reasons. Like I literally don't. You know, they didn't go through slavery. They weren't slaves. So I don't know why they think they should get reparations for slavery. They didn't go through Jim Crow. I don't see, like, you know, this talk of generational wealth not being accumulated. Personally, I can't relate to that, and I think most immigrants have a hard time relating to this idea of, because of slavery or Jim Crow, today they don't know how to function to to get a good job and or open a business and own a home and start generational wealth themselves. Because immigrants, when immigrants come here, they start their generational wealth within one generation. You really only need one generation to start generational wealth. And so for them to say throughout all these generations they can't do it, I just don't buy that. So I have a number of reasons why I oppose reparations. I don't buy the generational wealth story because I just don't relate to it, and most immigrants cannot. We come here with nothing and start something right away, and that's why we love this country, because this country gives us the opportunity to do that. And you know, when people say they can't do that, they can't do what we're doing every day, we just don't relate to that.
Okay. So I think I have some points of where I agree with you and some points where I would disagree for sure. I'll start from where I would probably say I agree. I think I understand when you say that when it comes to reparations, we're coming from a place of like, kind of like asking for something, when in all actuality, reparations should be taken. It shouldn't be asked for. We shouldn't be trying to beg somebody to give us something that we're owed. We should be taking it. So that's the conversation that really needs to be had when it comes to reparations. I agree.
Not to cut you, but can you give me an example of a time when reparations was taken instead of granted or asked for?
So when I say taken, I'm not talking necessarily by force. I'm not talking about taking up arms and fighting a country. I'm more so discussing political pressure and things like that are put in place in order to get it. Like for example, when you look at the Jewish community, you look at how much power they hold in this country. And just in the world and world politics in general, they didn't necessarily get reparations by taking it by force. But what they did is they put themselves in a position politically and economically where they could force reparations to be paid, right? In that type of sense. So I get where you're saying that it's kind of like,
Because I think, isn't that pretty much what ADOS is trying to do right now? Because, I think ADOS more
no,
so
that's
than
not what they're doing.
FBA.
They're
I
more
think
so like,
ADOS more so than FBA are more zoned in and have a reparations claim as their target in terms of a legal claim. And I think even in terms of lobbying politicians, I think ADOS has a track record of doing that type of stuff. So isn't that pretty much what they're doing as well? Trying to go the political route?
I'd say no, because the thing is politics without economics is dead. You can't force anything politically without having an economic base. So for them, they're trying to garner some sort of political support without having any kind of financial backing or anything, substance around the world that they could rally behind. So it's just more like them begging for reparations, or and not even the lobbying part. We can't even talk about that because they're not even necessarily doing that. So yeah, it's quite different, and I think Claude Anderson was a proponent of what it is that I'm talking about. Have you ever taken a look at his book, Powernomics? Have you ever run across that?
I've heard of it, but I haven't read it.
It's a really good book, and I know a lot of people like to misquote Claude Anderson, but mostly Claude Anderson spoke about building economic bases, right, at the first level, building institutions, banks, hospitals, grocery stores, things like that. And then using the resources from those institutions and funneling those things into political power, and voting as a block, things along those lines. So I would say that that is the route that we should be looking to try to go, rather than just trying to you know ask politicians things, march and protest and things like that, because these things, they get attention, but they don't have any substance behind them, and that's the problem with them. So I'll say that, like, us coming from uh, as far as trying to ask for reparations, coming from a submissive standpoint of trying to get it like that, I would say I would agree with you. I don't necessarily like where that comes from. Now, where I would disagree with you is, I would say that reparations is most certainly something that is owed. It's kind of like, I guess you could say, unearned wages, as it pertains to slavery. When it came to Reconstruction, and Jim Crow,
Unearned wages.
yeah, I would say
Why
that.
would anyone pay someone else unearned wages?
Well, it's I guess you could kind of say that it's similar to, when you get a settlement check, when somebody from a job, like when your beneficiaries get a settlement check from a job, um or Social Security. Like when you have a parent that dies, Social Security actually pays you out a certain amount, for that parent that died. And
That's not unearned, man. That's not unearned. Your parent, that's your parents, like your parents pay into Social Security.
Right, but you say that with slavery, that was kind of like that was earned labor that was never paid. Is how you could kind of look at it. I might have phrased that wrong when I said unearned benefits. I meant earned benefits that were never paid. Should I say?
Okay.
Yeah, I think I said that wrong. I apologize.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I would look at it, and I do think that reparations are, I would just say that it's old, and outside of slavery, there were other instances where opportunity was, you could say, taken. Like, for example, like cities were destroyed, like things like Tulsa, Oklahoma, and other black cities that were burned down, and highways that were built over certain black neighborhoods. There's actually a lake right now in Georgia. It's called Lake Lanier, which was a city. It was a black city that they actually destroyed and then made it into a lake, which is crazy. But there were lots of other instances that were.
And I don't like, if there are people today that are descendants of the people that lived on Black Wall Street, for example, that can prove that they have their descendants of those people. I don't have a problem with them. I don't see a problem with them going a route and trying to get reparations from whomever they think they should get reparations from. But just as a blanket check to everyone, like that idea of reparations doesn't make sense to me, because every black person has a psychological damage. Like that type of reparations doesn't make sense to me. If someone has a claim and can prove that their ancestors lived on Black Wall Street, lost everything they had, let them make a claim, and they can show how because of that they can't do anything today. Let them try and make a claim in court. It's going to be difficult, but let them pursue their claim. But the main reparations idea that I am opposed to is this. I guess it's closer to this global reparations that Dex is talking about, where if you're black, you get some reparations money. You don't have to. Okay. Before we go any further, though, Leonard, Leonard, welcome to the panel. How you doing today? What's on your mind?
I'm doing good. I just want to add some, just go straight logic, no chaser, no opinion, no none of that, as much as I can. Now, reparations, the meaning of it is what?
To repair.
Okay, repair. Now, can someone state how they have been broken?
Yes, psychologically, we've been broken.
No, don't say we've.
No,
you as an individual.
No. I'm trying to be honestly and sincere. A lot of black
You
people,
are being honest and sincere, but you know yourself better than anyone else in the world. So what I would like for you to do is for you to tell me how you have been broken.
but the problem with that question is
No,
that
there's no problem with the question.
As soon as you say but, you delineated everything you said prior.
Hey, hold on. Let me ask you this.
No, I'm going to answer.
Would you say that your parents have an impact on your situation growing up? Would you say that? Would you say that your parents played a role in how you grew up?
You talking about me or him?
I'm talking to the brother that was asking about direct damage.
Oh, right. Yes. My parents played a direct role in my
upbringing, thus and so, blah, 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 like their parents before them, their parents before them, their parents before them.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
Right. Exactly. So it doesn't have to be direct. It's an indirect damage that was most certainly done.
No, bruh.
Yes,
no.
it was. We cannot
No,
argue the facts.
Excuse me.
Hold on.
Now, excuse me.
If you're telling me that your parents play a huge role as far as how you grew up and the circumstances of
Yes, how I grew up.
How can you in the same breath say that you weren't affected indirectly by the circumstances of your parents? If your parents were slaves,
easy.
You don't think that would play a role in
what
would happen to you growing up?
Let's please go there. Yeah. My father is a World War II Army veteran. Fought in World War II. I served in Afghanistan and Iraq. Were those wars similar?
A war is a war.
No, they weren't similar. No. So do not say, "Oh, my father telling me." Hold on. Let me finish, and I'll be brief. My father telling me what he experienced in Europe, and my older brother telling me what he experienced in Vietnam when he was a Vietnam veteran, and myself being an Afghanistan, Iraq war veteran. None of the three wars are the same. Stop it.
War is war.
No, war is not war. War is not war.
Hold on, Leonard. Let me ask you this: if your father wasn't in the military, do you think you would have went in the military?
Yes. My father died when I was 3.
He capping.
My father died when I was 3. Why? Now, let me explain to you why I went into the military. I remember I was in kindergarten and I'm sitting there and my brother was home from Vietnam about to come pick me up. Now I'm thinking he's gonna wear his whole uniform. Can I finish my story? He's gonna come and pick me up from school in his uniform, right? He's gonna pick me up in his uniform, and I'm looking out the window, looking for him to come on, walking down the street, looking for him to come to the school. I'm all excited. Now, he didn't pick me up in his uniform, but I remember when he came home the first time and he had his uniform on. And I saw the 2 A's on there and airborne. And I was like, "Ooh, what's that?" He said, "That's all American, airborne." Oh, and who would someone want to be like? Their older brother, if not their father. So seeing as my father had passed away when I was 3, I wanted to be like my older brother. So what did I end up? I ended up 101st Airborne.
Because
hello,
it's not directly
let him talk. Let him talk.
Hello, I ended up 101st Airborne. Hello. You're
really proving my point at the end of the day.
No, I'm not proving anything. You are not making.
Hang on, Leonard. Let him speak.
Okay, I'm gonna let him cook.
If your family wasn't in the military, the chances of you being in the military would be far, far less. But because your family was in the military, you had your experience was that of somebody in the military, right? Or directly connected to someone in the military.
Oh my God.
So, and you can look up the statistics. There are statistics on this. People who are in the military are far more likely for their kids to be in the military along with them, right behind them. It's let me finish what I'm saying. It's the same situation where you have kids where if they're, no matter what you do, your kids are far more likely to follow in your footsteps than whatnot.
Okay, check this out. You know what I never did?
Leonard, let him finish, Leonard.
Okay. Like it's a cycle. So if you start off as a slave, right? The mentality that you develop as a slave, usually that's going to be something that's going to be passed on to your children and your children's children and your children's children's children. What you do today affects your kids, period. So I don't understand why this is why we're trying to remove parents from their children.
Okay, well,
let
me.
You have a direct correlation
Now,
between parents and children.
American Dream will back me up on this. He knows this for a fact about me. Okay, I'm not a descendant of slavery. That's first and foremost.
See, that's the problem.
No, it's not a problem.
That
I'm
is
not a
the problem.
descendant. No.
Take a DNA test. Take a DNA test. That's all. When y'all
Take
talk,
a DNA test,
when y'all
bruh. I have my family background.
When
So
y'all
what is your background?
when y'all make these claims, y'all have no substantial proof backed by science whatsoever.
Oh, now you need scientific proof when you can't. A lot of you all do not even know who your great granddaddy is, let alone your great grandmama. Let's go there.
Take a DNA.
Hey, hang on a
So
second.
what is
Hang
your
on a second,
background,
y'all.
Leonard?
Hang on, KD. KD, let me try and answer your question a little bit in terms of, because it's one thing to say, if Leonard, I'm sure, lived with his parents,
Yes,
right?
I did.
So whatever circumstances was going on with his parents that he lived with, I can see how that can have an impact on Leonard because he was there, right? But what y'all are talking about here is that y'all are impacted by slavery, which happened 400 years ago. You were not there, but somehow it's affecting you. The same thing with Jim Crow. You were not there. It's not like it was happening to your parents and you were there with them.
Now
So I'm
I
like,
was.
so hang on, Leonard, hang on.
Let him speak.
So what you're saying, KD, just doesn't hold water to me because you weren't physically there. So to say you can be just as affected by something you weren't physically around as something you were physically around, it just doesn't make sense to me.
KD, could I respond?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna let you go right after me because it's gonna be quick. But so when you talking about a system is passed through generations. That means that a system is one thing happening in a social constructive way. So this is why we brung the fact that if he was in the military, it obviously had to have some influence from his previous life. So from his previous lineage. So when we're talking about systems, we're talking about these people have been benefiting for this amount of time throughout these many generations. Money is still being passed down through generational wealth and all these factors through Fortune 500 companies that we do not have any access to or control of whatsoever. And all we're saying is hand it over. We're not asking for it. We're not just hand it over. Hand over what you took from us. If your car break down right now, if somebody break your car right window, do you expect them to replace it or do you expect you to replace it? That's the problem. If somebody
No, but that's different from that's different from me.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you is
different.
different.
No, it's not different. It
is different.
Your property. It's your property.
It is different.
No,
You
it's
bought
not
it.
your property.
You bought it.
That's
The
like
slaves
Dex. Hold
didn't
on,
own
Dex.
the damn thing.
Hold on a second.
Somebody take it away from you.
The slaves didn't own anything. So how you gonna take something from somebody that doesn't own anything?
We were the wealthiest people on the planet Earth.
No, you weren't.
Not by
Stop
just
it.
currency, not just by currency.
Stop it.
But by genetics too as well.
So Dex, we ain't even got to go that far because
okay, look.
Hold on.
Here you
Hold
American
on,
Dream.
Leonard, don't just cut him off like that. Let KD finish, then you can go.
Well, you had Katie, then let me go so I can sum all this up for you quickly since he's bringing so much military into it and since Black Americans are so anti-military.
All right, let him go.
Well, let me do this. Leonard, I'm gonna ask you. Would you say that your life has been impacted in any way by your grandmother and your grandfather?
No, I wouldn't because I don't know them personally.
But they raised your parents.
Yeah, they raised my parents. They surely did.
So your parents were affected, and we already.
And my great grandparents raised them, and my great grandparents before them.
We going too far. We're going too far.
No, we're not. You can't go too far.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm saying that your grandparents raised your parents, and we already talked about how parents affect their kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if your grandparents affected your parents, then that directly has an effect on you as their child, correct?
Okay, well, if that's the case, explain to me why my great grandparents on both sides had one child each, but my grandparents had 10 children.
What are you saying to say that?
What I'm saying is my great grandparents, they had one child. Because for generations prior to, there was only 1 to 2 childbirths in my family. My direct grandparents are the first in our history as a man and woman have 10 children.
That's
Okay.
a subjective. That's a subjective.
No, that's not
that is
subjective. That's the actual fact. Need
I'm not
I
even saying
name
how that's
them?
relevant. I don't
Need
even
I
like
name them?
if
So
you're if
stop
you're
No,
talking
if
about
no,
the
Leonard, you
effect.
don't have to name them. You don't have to name them,
Okay, I'm
Leonard.
not.
yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't
going to
even know
name
how
them,
that's
but
relevant.
you know I
But
will.
KD, do you get his point?
No, I don't actually. I don't understand his
I
point.
think I
He
think his
can't.
point is that if what you're saying is true, then like his grandparents would have also just had one child, but they didn't. And I think he's just saying that just because your great grandparents believed one way or acted a certain way or held a certain job, that doesn't dictate everything about you and what you're going to do. You're an individual with your own thoughts and your own ideas, and you know what I mean, like it doesn't have to be this one-to-one thing that you're trying to make it seem. I don't
Okay.
want to misrepresent what you're saying, Leonard, so
Oh
if
no,
I
you're
did,
not.
you can let them know.
You're right on point. The thing is this,
Thank you for
okay?
breaking that down.
Hold on,
The
Hold
thing,
on. Let me
hold
respond
on,
to
hold
that.
on. If I may, focus it on military now. Plenty of Black American men were drafted, right? They used that money to leave the Jim Crow South and come to the North for better opportunities. Now, why did my older brother go to Vietnam? It wasn't because our father fought in World War II. It was because our older brother had got hired as a Chicago police officer, so he went so his older brother wouldn't have to.
Okay.
That's what.
Okay,
Hold on.
okay.
Can I finish?
Can I respond? Hold on,
Go
KD.
ahead. Go
No.
ahead.
Can I finish?
Yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, bro. Go ahead. Finish.
Can I finish? Jeez. So he did that so that our oldest brother could progress as a Chicago police officer. Then my oldest brother, from mentoring him, hey, this is he became a Chicago police officer, right? Right. So the path that was laid before me was you're going to be a Chicago police officer. And me, I was like, I don't like you people. I'm leaving. I'm joining the military and I'm leaving. Yes, I like my brother's uniform. I loved it. I joined the military to get the hell away from impoverished ghetto Black people forever, and it worked.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay. Can
Okay.
I?
So Leonard, let me just say this. The
Go ahead.
argument was never whether or not parents mirror children mirror their parents, right? If you
Yes, it
got kids,
was.
I'm sure they don't do. Hold on. If you got kids, I'm sure they don't do the same thing you do. Like that. No, that's
No,
not what
yes, it
that's
was.
not what the argument is. The
No,
argument
that's what it
is the
was. Your
argument.
parents'
Hold on.
influence. Now
Hold on. Hold on.
hold on.
Hold
Let
on.
me
Wait a
get you.
minute. Wait a
Let,
minute.
let, let me
Let me
give you
wait.
one
I'll
tip.
let you go. Let me
Hold
Larry
on,
Larry
Leonard.
Hoover.
Leonard, let him finish,
Hold
Leonard.
on. Larry Hoover.
Hold on,
Larry
Leonard. Wait
Hoover's
a minute.
son is not
Wait a
a
minute, sir.
gang
Wait a
member,
minute. Wait a minute.
gang
Wait a
leader,
minute.
anything.
Wait a
But his
minute.
Let
father
him
was.
respond. Let him respond.
Let me respond. The argument isn't whether or not kids mirror their parents because we know that they don't. Kids do what they do at the end of the day. But we're not going to pretend like the actions of the parents don't play a role in the life decisions that their kids make going forward, right? It definitely plays a role. If you take a child and you put them in education or you put them in sports or you put them in whatever it is you decide to put them in growing up, there's a higher percentage chance that that child will lean into whatever it is that you bred them to do, right? This is why you got a lot of professional athletes who their kids become professional athletes because they're trained up as children to become professional athletes, right? Your upbringing, however you raise your kid, they're more likely, like for
Deion
me,
Sanders.
for example,
Deion Sanders.
I was raised in the church, right?
Hold on, Leonard. Hold on, Leonard.
Okay, I'm hold because that's crazy. But
it's not crazy. I was raised in the church, so it was set up for me to be, in the church, a pastor or a preacher or something like that. I ended up going another direction, but it was a higher, like people like my peers and things like that, people who I went to school with who are also raised in the church with me. A lot of them went on to become pastors and preachers and prophets and all that, because they were raised that way. So this is what I'm trying to say to you here, Leonard. Like you're not your kids aren't gonna
But
do
so
what
were
you
you
do.
though.
They're not
You
gonna
were
do
raised that way, and
you.
you didn't go out that way.
KD, could I just ask American Dream one question, because I want to get back to the topic at hand. So American Dream, you sat here and said that you don't believe that that we're psychologically impaired in today's society.
You're not.
Not
hold on.
not as a group. No, are there psychologically impaired individuals? Absolutely. As a
Yes.
group, are all black people psychologically damaged because of slavery? Nah,
Hell to the
buddy.
no.
Nobody.
And that's the point that we're disagreeing on. See, me and KD is saying that we directly.
Hold on. Before you speak for KD, before you speak for KD, do you believe that all black people are psychologically damaged because of slavery?
Not necessarily because of slavery, but because of racism. So
okay.
Oh my God!
So
racism?
You do think we are psychologically damaged? All black people are psychologically damaged?
I'm gonna give you examples.
I think black people most certainly as a whole, so this doesn't mean everybody, but most as a whole do suffer from racism, and there is some psychological impact that plays.
Oh my goodness!
Hang on, before you go on, Dex. I'm gonna come right back to you. But KD, can you give us an example of how your psychological damage manifests itself in everyday life?
Well, we can look at we can go to religion real quick. So
oh my goodness,
we can go to religion real, and I'm not going to go deep into it. I'm not going to.
Too.
Hold on, Leonard. Dang. Wait a minute.
Can we talk about exact personal
hang on, Leonard. I really want to know how KD's psychological damage manifests itself.
Absolutely. So let's talk about it for a second. So let's talk about religion for example, right? When you go to church, right, all the imagery that you see in church, when they talk about Jesus, when they talk about all these different people that took place, they're all images of white people. But we all know that historically speaking, when you think about the events that took place in the Bible, they're all events that took place in Africa, right? So, but the thing is, the question is why are all these characters portrayed as white people? And we ain't got to go deep into the Bible, because at the end of the day, like that's crazy. That's why I'm not in it. But this is just an example of what I'm saying. Now, growing up, your image of what God is, what Jesus is, right? Your deity is the image of a white person, right? And then you think about religion. You think about how black people were forced into Christianity, as a part of what they were brought into through slavery. You think about all these different events that took place, and you understand that this is a part of the programming that took place as a result of slavery and racism.
Hold on, KD. I'm asking you specifically. How does the psychological damage manifest itself in your life? Like, do you wake up every morning and smack yourself for no reason? Do you cut yourself for some reason? Like, how does the psychological damage manifest in your life? Because you're black, so you have to have a psychological damage. What is it?
I had the image of a white God, a white Jesus. That's psychological damage.
Exactly.
Because of racism.
Okay.
Yeah, that's racism.
American Dream.
Okay, and what has that prevented you from doing?
Thank you. You asked my question.
It prevented me from seeking the God that resides within myself, to know that God is made within. I am in the image of God, right? It's not no one else. right?
So
I
when
don't
did it
have to
stop
go to
doing
God
that?
for anyone
So
else.
when did it stop doing that?
But go ahead.
So when did it stop doing that? Because it sounds as if you're now finding the true God within yourself. So
Right.
when did the psychological damage end for you?
Oh, it took years of deprogramming. Honestly, it took
You
it took
deprogrammed
educating.
yourself?
Yeah. I had to. Even now, I'm still a little affected by it, if we're being honest. But it
Okay,
took
so
me.
you
I had
do
to
think
educate.
people can you think people can deprogram themselves?
Yes.
Sure, you can. You can. It's a process, but
And they can do
yeah.
that without reparations?
Can you do it without reparations?
Well, did you have reparations?
Yeah.
You didn't get any reparations and you deprogrammed?
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
that's
I
just
didn't
one
get
example.
reparations, and I
But you
deprogrammed myself.
deprogrammed, so you can actually do it without reparations.
Hey, Katie, let me
Well, that's
respond.
not the question. You can.
No,
You can.
that is the
We
question I'm
don't.
asking. That's the question
Yeah,
I'm
you can.
asking.
You don't necessarily need reparations. It's not something you could do it without reparations if that's what you're trying to say. But at the end of the day, there's no question as to whether or not it's owed. It's definitely owed, and it should be paid. But and at the end of the day, I think it should be. I already said it earlier. It should be taken. It shouldn't be asked for. We should
Right.
take it.
So and you think
But
you're owed reparations because you went to church and started to believe Jesus was white. So they
I mean,
owe you
that's only a
reparations
small
for that?
part of it,
Not a
though.
direct.
That's
That's
only
not
a
a
small
direct.
part of it.
Yeah,
But
that's
Yeah,
that's the example
you
you gave me.
trivializing it,
Dex, go
which is
ahead, Dex. You wanted to say something, Dex?
yeah, because your question, my question was originally to you, and I want to give multiple examples. That was a good example, KD, by the way. But
thank you.
so let's look at the most recent example that we could see in today's society right now. When you see a African woman, African American or indigenous woman, as y'all claim to be or whatever, claim them to be, whatever, a black woman walking the street in today's society, and they have on a white weave or a weave in general, straight long hair, is that not psychological damage?
Psychological damage, and yeah, great example.
From
No,
slavery?
That
No.
is psychological damage. If you
that's
guys,
not psychological
When you
damage
teach people to
in connection with
hate,
slavery. No, it's
listen,
not.
hold on. Let me just piggyback on what he said. When you teach people to hate their own self-image,
Oh my
that is
God, here we go.
psychological damage. Because guess what? You hate yourself. How can you operate in your highest frequency when you hate your image? You trying to look like someone else. You're not. This is psychological damage. And
Okay,
there's plenty of
American
research and
Dream. Let
plenty
me
of
let me
studies
throw
that
something.
back up what
Let me throw something on the table that would make just as much sense as what these gentlemen are saying. Now, it is said during slavery you had these things called breeding farms. Is it not?
you don't even believe in slavery, so why?
Stop. I didn't ask you for your opinion. Okay.
Go ahead.
Now, it is said historically there was this thing called breeding farms for slavery. Is that true or not true?
True.
Okay, that is true. So I could equally use that to formulate an opinion based on that as of why 70% plus Black American children are born out of wedlock.
I don't get what the point you're making.
Oh, what I'm getting is you get married, you have a baby. In the Black American community, because there's no such as African American, because you're not an immigrant. Black American community, you look at the percentage of children born out of wedlock being raised in single mother homes, and it's the same as breeding farms. Okay?
Okay. Could you back up? You just said that we are not an immigrant. That's what you said.
Why were there breeding
No,
farms?
you're not an immigrant.
Why were there breeding farms?
Matt, hold on. Let me ask you for deeper context into your actual point. So you said that we did not migrate over here to America, and you don't believe that?
It was not voluntary migration.
No, I'm talking about even before.
Stop. Can I finish? That was for you all that are talking all this slavery stuff. Now, you had voluntary migration, which were the Aboriginal Africans, the original sailors of the seas that settled in the western portion of this continent we know as North America. Hello.
What?
So you don't know about the Aboriginal Africans, huh?
Well, I know about
All you know about is the East Coast.
Let's just start here.
East Coast Africans.
Let's start
that
here.
the Hold on. Let me explain this out.
Wait a minute. Let's start here for a second because you mentioned breeding farms and you made a correlation between breeding farms.
Exactly.
And what black people do today, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why were there breeding farms?
Because the more slaves you had, the more production you could have on your plantations. Now let me go up here.
Right. But who put the breeding farms in place?
Now let me go here.
Leonard, hold on before you move on. Who put them in place?
The slave owners.
Okay, so so this is what we're talking about when we say.
Okay, now let me expound on that.
Wait a minute, because you.
Now I gotta keep waiting because I'm making too much sense.
Wait, Leonard, you helping us out a lot right now.
No, I'm not. I'm making too much sense.
You mentioned breeding farms, and you mentioned how that has a direct correlation on how black men.
No, I didn't say.
Right?
Nope.
Yeah,
See, that's where you're wrong.
I heard you.
No. That's where you're wrong.
Okay.
Listen good.
I heard you good.
Listen, get some Q-tips. Get some Q-tips and clean out. Get some Q-tips. No.
Yeah, let's not talk. Hello, gentlemen. Let's not talk over each other. It's just noise.
You're talking and you're not listening. Now, get some Q-tips, clean out your ears. Now,
let
American
him
Dream, he will co-sign on the fact that I said, since there were breeding farms, and that's historically true, I could use that argument to say that's why you have so many children born out of wedlock today, right? I could use that. It would be incorrect. It would be incorrect. See? Well, that's because of slavery. Because, our women were used as breeders. And now you got all these sisters out here. They just don't know what to do other than keep pushing out babies for every time Dick and Hank that smile in their face and see. And black people spend so much time blaming white people for every little thing that they can't doggone progress in this country. And that is a fact.
KD, let me ask you a question, KD. You said, you gave the example of black women with wigs that want to look like white women, and that's because of slavery. But from the way I see it, FBA, one of FBA's talking points is that everybody copies their style. Everybody dresses like them. Everybody listens to their music. Everybody just wants to be like them.
That's good.
What is it about everybody else that makes them, because it can't be slavery, right? It's not slavery why everybody wants to be like FBA. Why does it have to be the legacy of slavery why some black women wear their hair like white women do when everybody else wants to be like y'all? Like, can you help me understand
American Dream, if you're looking for me to argue on behalf of FBA, you got the wrong guy.
but regardless of whether it's FBA or not, FBA or not, you know what I mean? Black people like to say, it's not just FBA. Black people in general like to say that, everybody steals their swag and everybody wants to be like them.
Mm-hmm.
So why and that has nothing to do with their history of slavery or anything traumatic that they went through, right? Why does it have to be something traumatic for black women to want to copy somebody else's swag?
Well, I don't know which black people you're referring to because
which black people say
Dream.
People steal their swag? You've never heard that before? You never heard black people say that?
Yeah. American Dream. If I could expound.
Hold on. I want to know if KD has heard of that.
The only people who I've heard of that says this is FBA. I don't hear any other black people in America say anything like that. Sure,
There you go.
you might have an individual that might say, "Hey, you stealing my swag," for that particular individual. But there's no group of Black Americans outside of FBA and maybe ADOS, I don't know, that have come out and said, "Ah, you stealing my swag." That is an
Well,
FBA talking point. That's what that is.
okay, well, that proves the point regardless. Whether it's just a FBA talking point, they say it. They feel like everybody's bite is taking their swag, and it has nothing to do with those people being enslaved. So stealing swag has nothing to do with the legacy of slavery. That's the only point I'm making. Everybody steals swag. You can go to Japan and find a whole hip hop community
Sure
where they
can.
dress like Black Americans. You can go to China and find a whole a dance hall reggae community where all they listen to is dance hall music. They dress
Mm-hmm.
like Jamaicans. You can find that everywhere, and they weren't enslaved. There's no legacy of slavery on their mind. There are a bunch of reasons why people take other people's style or whatever. Maybe Black women just like how white women's hair look. That doesn't have to be because they were slaves, bro.
That's false. That's psychological damage at its finest. Ain't nobody else on planet Earth wearing as much weave as they are. Let's keep it 100.
That is true.
Okay. Who came up with the term systemic racism? Who came up with that?
That has always been an English word.
No. I didn't ask you that. I asked you one simple question. I know the answer because I'm older than the term systemic racism. Who brought it up? Who invented that? Do tell.
Why is that relevant in the conversation?
Why is it relevant? Because Black people tend to doggone spew information that they think is true, and they don't even know the origin of the information that are coming out of their mouth. They don't know.
So
Do you believe? So are you saying that to say that you don't believe there's any systemic racism? Is that what you're saying, Leonard?
Yes, there is no such as systemic racism. Systemic racism is a system that is set up to prevent people from coming up and doing what they do, which that ended in the Jim Crow era when it ended. Thank you.
All right. So I got a question then. If that's the case, right? How do you explain that that Black people own less than 1% of the wealth in this country when we're 13% of the population? How do you explain that?
Lazy.
Oh, so Black people are lazy. Okay, I got you.
I can step out my back door. I can step out my back door and be like, you see all this land? You see all this land that's called my backyard?
Let me ask you another question.
How did I get that?
How do you explain that Black people are systematically the most incarcerated, but only 13% of the population? How do you explain that?
That's not true anymore. Stop it. It used to be. It's not true anymore.
So Black people aren't the most incarcerated?
Stop.
Yes or no?
No.
Okay,
look
so
it up.
I mean, this is easily Googleable.
Google it then. Google it.
All right, we Google it right now.
I can tell you who's got the worst credit rating.
And that's
Google that too.
That's a system. You're proving our point.
No, I'm not proving your point. Bruh, I'm living real good. How are you living? That's the proof.
Hey, listen, I got my daughter in my hand. That's how I'm living.
Okay. You got your daughter in your hand. Oh, beautiful. I have two wonderful children that are six figures. That are six figures after taxes. They're 6 figures after taxes. I have a granddaughter that is going to doggone graduate from a HBCU and she didn't have to pay for college at all. Thank you, Uncle Sam. Military.
Okay, so according to the U.S.
Okay, so it's like this here. I can step out here and do all of this, and my children's homes are bigger than mine. Okay, because they have children. I don't need all that room. I'm a single nester. Okay. So, like I said, how you living? How you living, bruh? How you living? I'm about to go to the store. I'm about to make a store run, and I'm going to go on mute when I go to the store. Hold on,
Hang on, y'all. We're losing control of ourselves.
No,
Hang
we're
on a
not. I'm
second.
like saying systemic racism and this and that. So why is my high school dropout self, why am I so successful in this great country of ours? Of course, I had to go back to high school 2 years later to get my high school diploma. But why this kid from the south side of Chicago, where they throw up racks, you know, G Love, Gangster Love, all this other stuff, Hoover, Barstow, how did I end up becoming so
You one
successful?
guy out of 55
No, I'm
million
not.
people,
I'm
sir.
not
But
one guy.
anyway, yeah, you are
All
one
the
guy. But
doggone,
but listen,
all of my
listen.
doggone friends are
Hold on. Wait a
successful.
minute. Hold on. When I do a quick Google search, it tells me that reports indicate Black individuals make up 37% of the population, prison population in jail, while only 13% of the overall U.S. population. So how do you explain that, sir?
Easy, because 30% of Black Americans are welfare recipients. And what? 54%, if I'm not mistaken, are middle class earners. And
KD.
who told you to go out there and sell dope? You did that because you wanted to.
White people sell more drugs than black people.
No, don't compare black and white. Don't do that. Because if you doggone check your DNA, you got white in your doggone DNA too.
How do black people get the dope to sell? Where do they get the dope from?
Right.
The same place that they got libraries in every ghetto neighborhood to go read books. White
Oh,
people.
so you dodging the question. I got you.
No, I'm not. I just said the answer. For every
So they get
doggone
dope from the
drug that's dropped
libraries?
in any ghetto, you have a public
But
library
how
that's
did it
built
get to
by
the ghetto? How did
white
it get
people
there?
too.
Leonard, how did it get to the ghetto, sir?
How did it get to the ghetto? The same way the public library did. White folks did it. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey,
All right. Just wanted to
KD,
make that clear.
KD. Do you think that if someone was charged with murder, right, with shooting someone and killing them,
ooh, that's
right?
good.
Do you think that person could go in court and say, "Well, judge, where did I get the gun from?" Or do you think that person would, regardless of where he got the gun from, do you think he's still responsible for pulling the trigger on it?
Not if he
Of course
snitched.
he's responsible for pulling the trigger, but we got to look at the environment that person's put in. Would you say that somebody who is born into poverty, would you say that person has a higher or lower or a lower percentage chance of getting into criminality?
If you living in the, if you live in the, if you're poor,
Yeah, if you're poor, would you say that you have a more likely chance of getting into criminality or a less likely chance of getting into criminality?
I think it depends on the type of crime you're talking about, and I don't know about those statistics. I don't know if being
Well,
poor
crime is crime
automatically
under the
means
law.
you're going to be
American
a
Dream.
criminal.
Let me
I don't
help you
know if
out.
I don't know if hang on, Leonard.
Allow me to
Hang
help
on,
you.
Leonard.
Fine.
Hang on. I don't know if being poor automatically means, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be a criminal. I just don't see that as a correlation.
Well, not automatically, but we're talking about percentages. We're talking about odds, right? Because nothing is absolute, right? Everything is, for the most part, is shades of gray, right? So what it is situations are set up to where the odds are this is the likely effect, and the odds are that is the likely effect. So when I say that being born into poverty makes you more susceptible to enter into criminality, odds are, it would set up that way that it would be true. It's set up for you to be in poverty, to be enter into criminality,
It's called
if
cause and
that makes
effect.
sense.
It's called cause and effect.
Okay, well, I'm
And
wondering why all of the guys that I know that grew up with me, that grew up right down the street from Larry Hoover, and y'all know who Larry Hoover is. Hello, David Barksdale, Jeff Ford, all them Chicago gangsters. Why is it that so many that I know that grew up on the same street, we're doing great, and only one, count again, one went to prison for selling dope? We were all in the hood though. Come on now. Y'all know, look.
Let's look
I
at
ain't gonna throw hold on, bro. I'm not gonna throw
today.
Bruh, stop it. I'm not gonna throw up pitchforks and all that. Like, I'm Black Gangster Disciple Nation. That never was. I'm not gonna false flag. But I'm just saying, how is it that we did our thing and we never got convicted for drug selling because we did what? We went to doggone trade school, college, or the military. Those three choices were there for us to doggone make, to succeed and leave Inglewood on the south side of Chicago, 60621. You dig? And we out.
All right, what about the system that was in place that's happening today, though? Like,
what you mean that's happening today?
Look at the GDs and the BDs today. What are they doing?
The who?
The GDs and the BDs. The same
Like
people.
I said, the who?
Oh my God, bro. The black
disciples. Yeah, the BDs and the GDs of the day.
Yeah, what are
they
doing?
They like Crips and Bloods. They ain't even they have no organization, no nothing, and they ain't getting money.
Exactly. And this is what we're talking about when it's a system.
Yeah, exactly. They ain't getting money. So why are they running around doggone waving a flag for an organization that they ain't even getting money? They not growth and development. None of that. And I was never affiliated. You see what I'm saying? But I'm from that area, so I know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm one of them that could tell you Larry Hoover's address when he lived in the hood right down the street around the corner from me.
Hey, listen,
but you got all these youngins. Now let me translate that over into this systemic racism. No one's told me when the term systemic racism came about and who did it, so I guess I have to help you youngins out. Stokely Carmichael, Black Panthers, 1967. That's when it became popular. Systemic racism. Remember Angela Davis, power to the people, all of that. It was proven through DNA and doggone documentation that her family came to the United States on the Mayflower. She's not a part of slavery in the United States, and she's not the only one. Oh, it gets so deep, it gets so good, don't it? Well, all these black folk running around talking about we were slaves, and they don't even know their history, who they people were and where they came from. So they just latch on to slavery as an excuse for failure.
Okay, I got a question for you since we talking about that. So
I have an answer.
So you don't believe that the mass majority of black people came from the transatlantic slave trade?
Oh, the transatlantic slave trade was exactly what it was. But it was hellified black folk in this country before the transatlantic slave trade even started. Hello, the Aboriginal Africans.
So you believe there were more people over here before we got through the transatlantic slave trade?
Aboriginal Africans were already on this land before slavery was even a doggone thought in the mind of anyone.
I'm talking about numbers. I'm not talking about what you think.
I'm talking about numbers too. Where do you think these so-called American Indians came from? You think they just popped up?
Dude, it's not backed by any science or any statistics.
That's because these so-called American Indians won't get DNA tests. Because if they do, you'll find out that their doggone DNA consists of Aboriginal African and Mongoloidian DNA. The Mongoloids that crossed over from what's now known as Russia through Australia and migrated south.
That's a theory.
Hang on a second, Dex. Hang on a second, y'all. Before I forget this question, KD, do you think that if someone is charged and found guilty of murder, do you think that they should get whatever sentence they're given, it should be lessened because of the poverty that they lived in?
No.
No. So
I do not.
The poverty. So, but you think. And the reason I'm asking is because you seem to have been saying that the reason that there are so many black people are in prison is because of poverty, and that you kind of said we have to look at their background and if they're in poverty. So But if that can't be used as a reason to lessen their sentence, then poverty is not an excuse for any criminal behavior.
It's not an
Well,
excuse. It's
I
No, hang
wouldn't
on.
say
I'm
that.
asking JD. I'm asking KD.
Well, I wouldn't say that because poverty, y- we still all have free will. So just because your circumstances put you in a situation that would make it more likely for you to commit crime, it doesn't justify the crime. You still did the crime at the end of the day. But the way that we should be looking at this, though, is through the eyes of numbers and population and systemic. This goes back to systemic issues,
And no one's told me the
right?
year, but
So
I already gave it to you all.
if somebody's setting up the circumstances for them to be a disproportionately higher rate of people that commit crime, that in itself is the problem. That's the problem that we got to discuss. Not necessarily the fact that they committed a crime, but the fact that circumstances were put in place in order for there to be a higher likelihood.
But what do you mean circumstances were put in place? Like people commit crime for so many different reasons. Like what circumstance are you going to try and fit? Now you're going to fix everybody's circumstance. Like where do you even begin to do that? Like
Well,
you
for the
couldn't,
most
you
part,
wouldn't even,
usually people. Oh, sorry.
yeah, like you wouldn't even, I can't imagine that our legal system would even consider something like what you're saying, right? Consider their background before you charge them. Consider their background. So that means a poor murderer would get less time than a rich murderer because the poor murderer lived in poverty, and you would expect crime from poverty areas, right? Like that's kind of what, in my view, that's kind of where what you're saying is leading towards, right? If they live in poverty, you can't expect any better than criminality. So it's kind of this like deterministic type of mentality where if they live in poverty, you can bet they're going to be criminals, and so you cannot hold them responsible for their criminality. That's kind of what you're saying. And it's kind of the same thing with this reparations talk. Like it's like you're saying they are descendants of slaves, so you can't expect them to do better. Like it just doesn't carry much weight to me. And either way you put it, like the same way this idea of they grew up in poverty, so you must expect crime is the same way the court is going to look at that and be like, no, we're going to charge him as if he was rich. We're going to charge him regardless of all that. Like when it comes to where you are in life now, you know what I'm saying? To try and blame slavery for that it's just the same way that I think a court of law would look at you and be like, you're blaming what for what now? It's just kind of ludicrous to me.
Okay, American Dream. I have a question for you. So what is it about us that you feel that we don't need the reparations for? Like what it has to be one thing in your mind that's saying like, no, I don't want the Black American to get it.
Good
Because
question.
if you get it, because getting it means that you Dex are correct and black people are psychologically damaged. Like I refuse to believe that black people are psychologically damaged. I think
I mean,
black
you
people themselves, even FBA talk about everybody copying this. Like when we want to be the best, like if you hear FBA talk, they claim they have the best culture. Everything about them is the best. So but somehow they have a psychological damage, but everybody wants to copy them. Like you can't have it both ways. You just cannot have it both ways. But the main reason I'm against it, again, to not keep repeating myself, but you would be admitting that something is wrong with y'all on a mass scale.
and
All
what's
of
wrong
y'all
with
have a psycholo. And what's
what's
wrong
wrong?
with that?
Yeah, what's wrong with us admitting what's actually wrong with us?
Because when the white man told y'all that y'all were inferior, you told him to go F himself. You were like, hell no, we're not inferior. Now you're admitting to being inferior.
We're not
Like
saying
that's
that
what's wrong with it. You're saying
we're not saying that we're inferior
Well,
to
what
them.
are you saying?
We're
what
saying
are you saying if you're psychologically damaged, bro, and everybody else is psychologically okay? You're saying you're inferior and you need to be repaired. Only
you're
something that's
comparing.
broken needs to be repaired. And
Hold on,
anything
listen.
that's broken is inferior to anything that's not broken.
That's false. And I'm gonna tell you why. We're not saying
Would you
that
rather a broken car or a not broken car? Would you rather a broken
if I could
gun or a not broken gun? Which would
listen,
you
it all
prefer?
depends. It all depends on the circumstances, and that's what I'm saying.
What circumstance would you prefer the broken thing to the not broken one?
See, this is the problem though. See, and I'm gonna answer the question. What I rather us be broken now and then build ourselves up to become the people that we need to be. That's the difference. If we just had everything.
And you need reparations to do that? You need reparations to become the person you need to be?
Listen, that's a part of it. What I'm saying is,
That's a part of it.
if we just had everything and it was already just always, if we already just had it, we wouldn't have nowhere to look forward to. We would just be who we are supposed to be before the shit actually occurred. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that we looking at it in a bad light. We looking at it as, look, we just need to have a footing in what we deserve. That's all we're saying. If like I said, if somebody break your car, you're gonna be like, I need you to pay for my car because I didn't personally break it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I wouldn't do that because I have
1
great
second, Leonard.
insurance.
Hang on, Leonard. People in the chat, can y'all please hit that like button, please?
Yeah.
You're here. You must be liking what you're hearing because you're here. So just hit that like button. Do us all a favor and hit that like button. All right, go ahead, Leonard.
Hold on.
Okay, hold. But just one quick thing, KD. You said you're holding your daughter, right?
No, that was me.
No, that was Dex.
Oh, that was Dex. Okay, KD, Dex, whoever is just talking about holding their daughter.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
Right.
Were you married before she was born?
No.
There's the problem. You are the problem. No. That ain't got nothing to do with psychological damage. That has to do with sexual irresponsibility. Now, my son came over because I was doing some lawn. Stop. Let me finish. Let me finish. No, I was doing some lawn work. You know, I'm an old man. My son's sitting outside right now. He can't hear what we saying. I could go outside right now and on a random whim, be like, "Hey, son, was your mother and I married before you were born?" And he would say, "Yeah." And I could ask him, "What year was your mom and I married?" He would probably say he don't know. We were married in 18. I'm not 18. Damn, so I'm messing up. 19.
Hold on, but you talking law.
Stop.
You talking law.
I ain't talking long. You the one that's doggone got a child out of wedlock. Now I'm the one that doggone got married.
So you're saying just because you're married that you're a better father than I am? That's what you're saying?
No, I'm saying I'm a better person in general.
That's not true.
Bullshit.
That's not true.
Hey, son, thanks for doing you dig with the lawn work. I had to ask, and I was on this live stream, something with some people.
Mute yourself, Leonard.
No. Were your mother and I married before you were born?
Yeah. We all met in Germany.
We met in Germany, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got married. We was in the army.
Yeah.
Fell in love.
Yeah.
Then we made you.
Yeah.
Thank you, son.
But you're not proving. You're proving our point.
Not
That's
really
what
making a point.
Proving what point? I'm proving the point that I'm sexually responsible, and if you are a sexually irresponsible black man, like the rest of these sexually irresponsible black men, which is the reason you have all of these black women that have these children born out of wedlock.
What about
children?
Leonard, you were in the military, right?
Oh, hold on. Let me ask him.
You were in the military, right?
Hey, you have any kids, son?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So you're proving our point. If he do,
I'm not proving nothing.
Okay, so let's say hypothetically,
Is your son in the
What's
military?
next? My credit score is 720.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the credit score. Yeah, that's
the Experian is 720, but the other ones are like 760 and up.
760. Yeah, your credit score is 760 plus.
Hey,
Yeah.
Leonard, is your son in
Yeah.
the military? Is he in
No,
the
he's
military?
not. No, he's not.
Okay, he's not in the military. Is he a police officer?
No, he's not.
Okay. All right. So
Hold on. Let me. Are you a police officer?
No.
No, that's what I thought.
I don't trust the police.
My son don't even like
Stop
the police.
harassing your son. Leave your son
I'm not
alone,
harassing
Leonard.
my
Harassing me, I'm chilling.
This is crazy. Oh, they asked if you were in the military.
Yeah. I lost like 3 fingers, but I'm good. I could, yeah.
Yeah,
So
you
you
lost 3
lied.
fingers.
So you lied,
Thank you.
Leonard.
Thank you
No,
for your
you
service,
asked
sir.
if he was in the military. He's not
Leonard, come
now.
on,
He
bro.
almost lost. He almost lost
Leonard.
3 fingers.
Leonard.
Hold
What
on,
the hell? Really?
KD.
Yeah, really.
KD, hold on. One second, Leonard. So were your parents married before they had you?
Yes, they were, and I was the last one born. I was the 5th child. I was a oops baby.
Hold on. And,
I was my daddy came home from work, and my mama said, "Guess what?"
Okay. What about the generation before that?
What about the generation before that?
Yeah.
That's my grandparents that had 10 children.
Okay, were they married?
Dex, he
they were
already cooked
married.
himself. Look, hey Dex, he already cooked himself because
I didn't cook anything, bro. Look, number one, look. First and foremost.
Wait a minute.
Hang on, gentlemen. Let me say something, please? Hang on, y'all.
Please.
We're getting to the 3-hour mark. We got 10 minutes before the 3-hour mark. So we're gonna say our closing words. So I got to shut this down. So whatever else y'all want to say, include in it. Just know that you're giving your final words, because I gotta get out of here. And I'm gonna start with we're gonna say our closing words in the order in which we came in. So the last person in here was Leonard. So Leonard, say what you're saying so we can get out of here.
Okay, I'm gonna say this as I go to make a beer run. Bottom line up front is this.
And the topic is reparations. Say
This
something
is
about
not
the topic.
a doggone rainbow. Okay? That is a Louisiana Creole flag. Okay? Yes, Louisiana Creole. I'm successful. My son is successful. You see, he came over. That's paid for. This is paid for. I'm about to go make a beer run. He's just hanging out with his dad. He's just hanging out with his dear old dad because I'm too old to be doing all this lawn work and raking the leaves. I got all that yard over there. I got all the yard over here, all the way to the back. And then I got down there good over a 1/4 acre of land in my backyard.
Who made it?
And you know what?
It's his last word. Let him say it. Let him finish up. Finish up, Leonard.
Okay, his house is bigger than mine. And you need to see my doggone who I'm like, this is my daughter, because I cuffed her because she was parentless. Okay? 6 children.
So
she
you do have
gets
a kid out of wedlock.
no.
Hold
I
on,
said
Dex. Let the man finish, please, Dex.
see that? I said I cuffed her as my daughter. I'm not her biological father. She knows who her father is. Her father and her mother died in an accident when she was like 10 years old.
Finish up, Leonard. Finish up, Leonard.
Yeah. So that's the deal. The thing is, look, you can't say that your doggone had enough manhood in your system to marry a woman before you made her a mama. You a typical doggone raggedy ass nigga out here in the street like the rest. I'm going on mute.
Thank you, Leonard. Dex, go ahead.
You meant KD because he went in.
You're absolutely right. KD, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Don't mind if I do. So let me just first start by saying Leonard lied. I asked him whether or not his son was in the military. He said no, when in all actuality he was in the military. And this goes to prove my point when it comes to reparations. Reparations comes down from a long line of systemic issues that the U.S. government put in place. Not even just the U.S. government, honestly. Europeans.
Wait, you're not saying he lied because of slavery?
No, he didn't lie. I'm not saying he lied because of slavery. He lied in order
Yeah,
so
I'm
he could
not
prove
getting
his
your
point.
point then.
Okay, he lied so he could prove his point, because my point earlier in this conversation was that when you are raised, your upbringing plays a large role in what you decide, the decisions that you decide to make in your life. It plays a very strong impact on that. And one of my points was being that people who are in the military, usually their kids usually end up being in the military. People who are teachers, usually their kids end up being teachers. People who are slaves, a lot of times their kids, not a lot of times, but in most cases, their slaves take on the same mannerisms, ideologies as the slaves, right? So this is the quote unquote harm that's done to the psyche of Black people, which justifies reparations. All right. So that's just one of the things. And also, too, I want to mention that also there are a lot of studies that are done on this, by the way, and everybody agrees that Black people are owed reparations. Now, unlike the FBAs, all Black people, for the most part, most Black people are owed reparations, not just American Black people. But reparations are most certainly owed and should be paid, but it's up to us to get reparations or take reparations rather than trying to ask for it benevolently, because nobody's going to give us anything. Our only option is to take it. And I'll just land my plane right there.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for coming in again.
Of course, man. I appreciate you, American Dream. I want to say this too, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if we were related in some type of way, bro. Because you sound like you sound like some of my cousins and stuff like that. I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't be surprised if we were related, but I'll just leave that there. And
Indeed.
thank you for having me
We're all
on.
related, bro. We're all related.
We
We're
are,
all
but I
brothers
think
and
more
sisters.
directly though.
All right, I got you. All right,
All
bless
right.
yourself.
Bless up, man.
Dex, go ahead. Final words, reparations.
Okay, so I just want people to. This has nothing to do directly with reparations, but I just want people to do more research on what they think they believe, and I really think people should do deeper research and critical thinking, and also learn to comprehend the sources that people read, because it's getting very dangerous in the sense of where people are getting their ideologies, and I would just say, if you are for Black people around the globe, then I think that is heavily needed for us to have these conversations and do it in an appropriate manner, and also just sticking together through thick and thin, and that's really pretty much it. But I really suggest people just if you think you're at a dead end in researching something, just keep on going, because information never stops. So just keep going. The truth will set you free. So the truth gonna be the truth. The facts gonna be the facts, and I live my ideologies based on fact. So I hope everybody else do the same.
All right, blessings. Thanks again for coming in, Dex.
Yeah, for sure.
Respect. Yeah, people. So the last thing I will say, my final words, is to the people in the chat. On your way out, please hit that like button before it gives me psychological damage and I have to charge you with reparations. I have to ask y'all for reparations. So just hit that like button, please, on your way out. You know what I mean? Thanks for stopping in. We're going to see y'all again sometime during the week. And stay blessed, man. Thanks for stopping in. You done know.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
Tell the youth them to be strong. You can't tell the youth them to preach wrongs. While you try it on these lands, just remember every man is equal. Yeah. Each one teach one, and our Father God, him are the only done. So make we ease and reason. Smoke trees, span the ends, all the deep meds. Take a look at life, and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government now have no heart, them no care about poor people. Yeah, bigger heads no love people again. Them most are than little of them. Me see friends now reason again. Vex through whistle a blame. More time it hurt me to see how the face deal with the eagle of them. Regular me see it a pain. Regular me see it a pain. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government now have no heart, them no care about poor people. Social commentary, drop the one your principle, you don't know the global will come and do it. Some people life every day it's stress, the high price from JPS, that topic is currently. Jah alone him a go help you. We need food and we no healthy. We are feel the pain, beg you protect we. In our life we have no fanfare. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government now have no heart, them no care about poor people.
Very careful.
Tell the youth them to be strong. You can't tell the youth them to preach wrongs. While you try it on these lands, just remember every man is equal. Yeah, each one teach one. And our Father God, him are the only done. So make we ease and reason. Smoke trees, span the ends, all of deep meds. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government now have no heart, them no care about poor people. Yeah, bigger heads no love people again. Them most are than little of them. Me see friends now reason again. Vex through whistle a blame. More time it hurt me to see how the face deal with the eagle of them. Regular me see it a pain. Regular me see it a pain. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government now have no heart, them no care about poor people. Social commentary, drop the one your principle, you don't know the global will come and do it. Some people life every day it's stress, the high price from JPS, that topic is currently. Jah alone him a go help you. We need food and we no healthy. We are feel the pain, beg you protect we. In our life we have no fanfare. Take a look at life and don't close your eyes. Sometimes things happen and it's no surprise. And I just, so it go, so it go, so it go, so it go. It's the government now have no heart, them no care about poor people.
It's all about life in the street. People are suffer, try survive in the heat. But mind them up to one hygiene a do it. That's why enough of them, yeah, rifle a beat. Everybody want the ghost, I want to drive in a Jeep. Every day I'm at the ball when she buy in a read. Not even 5 days, we can't find for the week. Me no see no changes, the same cycle repeat. Give thanks cause life it's a sweet. But keep an eye open every time you go sleep. Cause mankind jealous and them idle go live. Them never yet plant and not try figure rape. Bigger heads where you fight for the sake. Now care about the future nor the child where you creep. Them a pray the fat Kyle with some meat. The system will slide where you fit.
In the streets so we born and grow. Only Jah know and nobody know.
When we talk about ghetto life, talk about ghetto life. Ghetto life,
everybody a priest, say them want the dough. That's why them a speed and they pan the go.
Cause this a real ghetto life. This a real ghetto life. Yeah. Everybody just a pre-success. When me looking at the street, you me see enough stress. Them all a fight people who reach up next. Everybody want floss and a beat up chest. Juvenile in a them teen love sex. Them a breed the fast money, them no need subjects. And if you're unfortunate, please don't vex. I saw the thing said, cause the streets don't rest.
In the streets so we born and grow. Only Jah know and nobody know.
When we talk about ghetto life, talk about ghetto life.
Everybody a priest, say them want the dough. That's why them a speed and they pan the go.
Cause this a real ghetto life. This a real ghetto life. Yeah. It's all about life in the street. People are suffer, try survive in the heat. Bad mind about you and hygiene a do it. That's why enough of them, yeah, rifle a beat. Everybody want the ghost, I want to drive in a Jeep. Every day I'm at the ball when she buy in a read. Not even 5 wheels, we can't find for the week. Me no see no changes, the same cycle repeat. Give thanks cause life it's a sweet. But keep an eye open every time you go sleep. Cause mankind jealous and them idle go live. Them never yet plant and not try figure rape. Bigger heads where you fight for the seed. Now care about the future nor the child where you creep. Them a pray the fat Kyle with some meat. The system will slide where you fit.
In the streets so we born and grow. Only Jah know and nobody know.
When we talk about ghetto life, talk about ghetto life.
Everybody a priest, say them want the dough. That's why them a speed and they pan the go.
Cause this a real ghetto life. This a real ghetto life. Yeah.